throughout the mighty jungle.
Lion sleeps tonight.
You know, when I do the audio, my audio, this audio comes in and it's just like random ass talking. I'm like, I don't know what was happening before we went live, and I know this is gonna happen this time. It's just gonna be some. Why are they singing Lion King? Nigga, I don't know. Nigga, I do not know. Anyway, let me send this shit out.
Send it. You know why? It's fire time.
Oh, you over there typing? Can we hear you and everything? Wow, look, straight in here.
DP,
What's up, DP?
What's happening?
What is happening?
Need to get them questions on deck, DP.
The hell is coffee? Oh. Anyway, all right. Welcome to the cut. We here again. We're doing it again. You know, another show. Somebody is feedbacking right into my ear right now. So you know, we got standard cast of characters. I think Graham, G-Dub. I'm just calling y'all by y'all government names.
Just might as well give our governments, bro.
Yeah, I know. I'm just terrible at this. I am terrible at this. Anyway, we got the bad guy. We got Kung Fu Kenny. We got Wicked Thurman. Yeah, there they are. They are everybody here. The whole cast of characters. Anyway, so today we kind of just doing, you know, question and answer.
Yeah, got something that you want to hear.
Really, you Anyway,
I'm done. I'm so done.
Anyway, just ask us questions. We'll answer them. I mean, I got some other stuff that I can kind of.
We got to shout out happy belated birthday to DP.
Yeah, happy belated birthday, DP.
Yeah. It is. It was her birthday. I saw it. I don't know what you were doing. I don't know what you were doing, but she would post a lot of pictures from the beach. I was like, I don't know if these are old pictures or new pictures, but you were having a good time at some point. Pre-corona, it looked like you had a good time.
I gotta see this. Oh, don't you love that? Somebody say something, baby. I saw this on Facebook. The first thing you do, I gotta go see this.
Yeah. She looked like she was having a ball, man.
You're welcome.
All right. Man, you know how hard it is to share all of these damn links?
Okay, Country Boy is busy. She went to visit the Rona at the beach.
Oh man!
Oh, you actually did go to the beach.
Oh, you hardcore.
Oh, you know, North Carolina don't care no more. We ain't got professional sports, but they got these kids out here playing. Jesus Christ! I passed by the park. They done started organized sports up for the kids. They all sitting beside each other. The parents beside each other. No fucks given. Right in each other's face. Everybody left their mask at home.
You know how I knew it was over? I mean, it was like them dudes is over for. It's over for when the kids wasn't social distancing no more. They just playing like it's summertime. We just gonna play together like it's the Rona over.
Yo, they was out there playing baseball this morning. I was like, okay, it's real out here. I'm like, and you would think at least the parents would social distance. Nope. Shoulder to shoulder watching.
I know. Look at my baby. That's pre-Rona.
Yeah. All right.
I'm like,
she's getting her question ready.
I'm like, at least baseball is the one sport I could say you could probably play with social distancing, right?
Play, yes. Or kickball, play.
Yeah.
But the parents are not social distancing, so that negates all of this shit.
Yeah, it does. It really does. When two people are dating, early stages, what does go with the flow mean? I mean, when a man says he's dating someone new, I'm 35, he's 47. 47? Damn!
47?
Woo, boy! You got a sugar daddy. All the way sugar daddy.
Damn.
My leg.
Yes, a little bit.
You don't have to define that. Like, go with
the
flow means different things to different people. So I would say don't assume and have him clarify for you what go with
Real
the
fast.
flow means.
I would reiterate that you need to ask him what go with the flow means, because go with the flow means different things for different people. You know what I'm saying? Go with the flow for one person could mean, yo, we kicking it, we chilling, we having a good time, we're not gonna put no labels on it, we just chilling, we just chilling. Whatever happens.
Yeah, trying to feel you out and see what.
I'm trying to figure what kind of person you are. Or it could mean like, hey, I just want to smash. Like, I'm going with the flow. My flow is to chill and smash. Like,
right.
I ain't looking for no major commitment right now.
Yeah, I'm not looking for no major commitments. I mean, go with the flow is intentionally ambiguous.
Yeah, I think any relationship question can typically be answered with communication. I'm like 9 times out of 10, if you communicate, you're gonna answer whatever relationship question you got. And it sounds like to me this cat is trying to pull a fast one. I don't know him, but it seemed like to me he's trying to pull a fast one, because there's some shit I would do back in '99. You know what I'm saying? Hey baby, let's just go with the flow, man. You don't put no labels on this. Just go with the flow. You know what I'm saying?
Flow in your direction or out of your direction.
Oh shoot!
Just flowing.
We just in the mix. We just doing our thing. We just let it be. Let it be organic.
DP, I'm going to say that rivers have a lot of branches that come off of it. So watch that flow. Watch the flow of this river.
And, going with the flow doesn't necessarily mean it's going to flow in your direction. You can branch off away from you, and you're like, wow, this is not what I expected. When people say go with the flow, they think we're going to go with the flow together. Go with the flow could mean, hey, we could branch off in 2 different motherfucking directions.
What though? You want to get them smack right? If you want him to get some act right, you go with the flow. You go with the flow too, and let him know you got some friends.
Oh, that was the wrong answer to your question. I'm going to go ahead and say that. Okay, she gave us some backstory. That was his answer to your question. Okay, all right.
Wow. You say she said I feel like it was game. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think it was game because she specifically asked him, "Will it be casual or are we working towards something?" And he was just like, "Hey, baby, just go with the flow."
Yeah, it's casual. He answered the question. It's casual.
That's called casual.
Mm-hmm. So
you need
in
to
my
get
opinion,
super casual and see if he gonna get smacked right.
Right. Don't invest too much in homie, because homie didn't already let you know that he just chilling.
What do you think? What are your thoughts on NBA players coming back to play? Okay. So he asked about how do we feel about the NBA coming to play after with everything that's going on? Honestly,
they're against playing.
Against playing.
Because I think wasn't it Dwight Howard said that
they're not completely against it. There's a contingent of players who are for playing, and a contingent that are against it.
Well, I think it was Dwight Howard that said that he was kind of like, I would love to come back and win me my first championship or whatever.
Question, TP.
But in my, with the current climate, I don't necessarily know if it would be right of us to start back up playing and coming back. And I think that was the tie that a couple of other players have said, and also some people have expressed reservations about coming back to play because of Rona. So and I think they're living in a bubble. Like, you're gonna be in Orlando in a bubble. Like, it's not gonna be fun. It's not gonna be a good time. It's gonna suck ass. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know. They might have some fun down there with all of them just by themselves. So
financially, it's eventuality. They got to do it. I mean, if you don't play this season, I was reading today, they were talking about that they would have to renegotiate the CBA. The players will lose about $1.2 billion in revenue in salary. The league will lose $2 billion in revenue. And I was like, with those kind of numbers, nigga, like, we gotta play. You have to play. I have to. I can't financially. Like, yes, I would love to be able to, in this current unrest, continue to, show support and not play and not be a distraction.
You don't think they can afford it? I mean, the league. I think it's gonna hurt. You think it'll hurt the league more, or the players more? You don't think the players can?
No,
if you're a rookie, you might be hurt.
No,
it's gonna hurt the players.
The average player, it would probably hurt. Now, the superstars, it probably don't matter to them because, like LeBron James, he got hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, but they ain't bringing back all the teams anyway, though, right? They only bringing back a few teams, right?
Yeah.
Right, but I'm worried about the number 12 guy on the bench who's making the veteran minimum. So he making probably like $400 and some thousand.
But he should already have money if he a vet, right?
I'm gonna tell you what's
pass money
during a
not
strike.
Necessarily
During a strike, especially in the NFL, but the NFL is different. But if you're gonna tell me who's gonna run out of money first, the billionaire owners. No!
It's not a contest of money. It's an idea of trying to use this time, over the head. Like they didn't calculate how much money they about to lose, right? So trying to use this to your best advantage to twist some hands to get some extra shit done on this movement, right?
Yeah, I mean, but also in a normal world, pre-pandemic world, they could do both. They could be like, hey. I can sit out here and protest and show support and also play, but if you tell me these guys gonna be in a bubble and
but here's the thing though, they actually will get more attention because typically what comes with an NBA game is the post game, which includes a lot of interviews and interactions. And so in actuality, you would have a better opportunity to express yourself and to matriculate through those different types of statements than you would out here in the regular streets. Because remember now with this NBA game, you got a live captive audience for your post interview stuff. And if every black NBA player decides that, look, we're going to take our post interview time and we're just going to basically talk all issues, what can the media do but cover that?
The thing is, though, in the area of social media, is that even necessary?
It's still necessary because you still would reach a segment of the population that you won't get through social media. And I say that because I'm like, what a lot of people think is that like social media is the world, when in actuality, there's a lot of people that are not on social media or who are on selected social media. So yeah,
that's
Black
true,
Twitter
but typically
is right, but
you connected through, also, person to person, right? Just because, this person might not have it, but they might know somebody that has it, right? Word of mouth is still a thing, right?
It is, but I see Wicked Thurman's point. It's if they decide to play, what do you do with your platform? Like you have this captive audience. What are you going to do with it before, after? You had the NFL where you had the players kind of unite with Colin Kaepernick for a minute. And then you had management come in and the NFL come in and it's like, nope, and we're going to find you. And then people stop.
Yeah, it's kind of like once you sign that contract, it's back to business as usual. And then they can start holding that over your head. Like, okay, you back, you can't do this, you can't do that. But I know the NBA is a little bit, a little more lax than the NFL in terms of allowing you to express yourself.
But they can't control what you say in your interviews. Now, they may can try to coach you. They may can try to persuade you not to. But what you say and what you do in your media time, that's all on you. And I mean, I've never heard of any type of league policy that says that I can mandate what you say in a
They'll persuade you not to, though. They'll heavily persuade you.
Yeah, I mean, they could. But let me ask you this. If 70% of your league is us and we say, get out my face, what can they really do? And I think that's the thing. You got to take the power when you got it.
The other thing is now all of a sudden they're not gonna risk that backlash. So I think if the players did choose the platform to say what they want to say, they don't want the backlash right now. Like you got the NFL coming back going, we were wrong. Okay, we see what you're saying now. Now, like just last year, y'all was still treating him like dirt. Y'all was still like, well, we're going to do this little kind of see if he can have a little camp and see if anyone is interested. But y'all still really weren't on board. Now, you had other organizations and companies like Nike who backed him, even though the NFL didn't. So I think while people are afraid to not say how they really feel, they can take advantage of the situation. Because the NBA don't want that blowback right now. While people are protesting, because the protests haven't stopped. So now would be an ample time. If you're going to go ahead and do it. And the NBA is not going to give you that blowback. They want you to buy merchandise.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you deleted TikTok. Fuck TikTok.
I never got with the TikTok thing. My kids are big on TikTok, but me, I was like, I don't like watching your random ass videos. And there's no guarantee of what I'm watching. I'm just watching random ass videos.
The platform as a whole is odd. It forces you, on one hand, it seems to reward everybody equally-ish. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I don't know how the algorithm works, but it seems to reward you randomly. So you being a big YouTuber, a big TikTok-ish-er, whatever they call, and just being a random small one, it seems just randomly generate a boom. But on the other hand, the way they treat black people on that platform is not okay. I had a TikTok for this briefly because I would post the videos and then funneling people to our YouTube channel. But like the next day, people told me how racist it was, and I was like, "Well, there's that idea." That idea.
What's up, Jessica?
Hey, Jessica. Who is Jessica?
Jessica in the house.
Oh, you know Jessica? Is that one of your people? Okay.
Hey, Jessica.
Jessica, ask us a question, Jessica. Let's go. Let's see what Jessica got.
So,
all questions open, Jessica.
While we're asking questions, while we're waiting on questions, I have a question. How do you feel about the taking down of not just Confederate monuments, but monuments as a whole, all of them? You know what I'm saying? Christopher Columbus, the Confederate monuments, monuments to ex-slave owners. It's a lot of people. Pretty much all of them were flawed in some point. How do you guys feel about them?
It needs to go somewhere. Don't erase it. Don't erase it. Don't destroy it.
It's written down somewhere. Somebody know about it. It's a part of it. You can put it write about it in the textbook. But
I've heard two different opinions about it. One person said we should leave the monuments up, but when somebody desecrates them, we should leave it desecrated, so that the conversation becomes, "Ooh, why is that statue ain't got no head?" And then you got to explain, well, Christopher Columbus came over in 1492 after basically raping and pillaging the Caribbean, and then came to America and brought the same thing. And so some people don't like him. That's one way to handle it. The second one is, let's just be honest, all Confederate shits needs to go.
Yeah.
But
one nation, one flag.
But when you talk to most of those Confederate people who want to keep the stuff, for some odd reason, they love to bring up the fact of, well, what if we took down Martin Luther King statue? And I always be like, that's funny how we talking about a bunch of treasonous bastards taking them down, and then you go to a peaceful black leader and want to take him down.
I'm for a museum that's the dark side of history. I'm for the museum. Right. We talk about it all. Let's talk about the Civil War.
Gather all that shit up and take it there.
How we end up with reservations, but put it somewhere. Just let it be a museum about the ugly side of the country and put them there. Let's talk about it.
Start telling the truth about that history.
Just put them all where they belong in the same place, and let's talk about all of the parts of history. Unfortunately, everybody don't read, and it won't ever make it into unfilled history books. But put it in a museum. It's the United States, the history for real, the ugly side of it, and not just the glory, duty, shiny, bright part of history that we all proud of, or they proud us to be proud of, and then they like, well, oops, maybe let's be a little sensitive.
Because I heard somebody who said, well, what if for every Confederate statue, first off, let's take them off the pedestal, let's put it on the ground. That's first off. And then on the pedestal, why don't we put, I guess what you would call the opposite side of that argument on the pedestal. So you could see the two contrasting, and where the actual, Yankee, I guess you would call it, side of it is elevated on the pedestal. The Confederate side of it is on the ground, and it's kind of got a lower place.
They have a Confederate statue in Salisbury that they were talking about removing. It's just a random soldier being held by like some kind of lady of health or some shit. Anyway, it's in downtown Salisbury, and they were talking about removing it. But honestly, in my mind, Confederate statues are easy targets. They're easy targets. You know what I'm saying? When you're talking about a country that was only around for like 5 years, they were treasonous. They lost. It's a bunch of fucking losers, basically. Like, there's no reason that they should exist. But like, when people start mentioning, like, okay, what about early presidents? Early presidents owned slaves. You know what I'm saying? Some of them were extremely racist. Should we still keep those?
Here goes how I feel about those people. Now, the thing about it is that, like, again, context is needed. As long as you're gonna do context. But what I feel is, though, is like, let's take their names off of all this shit that it's on. I'm just being real. Like, do we really need a George Washington elementary school in every city? No. We can name that shit for somebody else.
And George Washington, there's a Nathan Bedford Forrest Elementary School. Do you know who he was? The first Grand Wizard of the KKK. Right. That motherfucker got an elementary school.
Can we get rid of those first? Can we?
But that's what I'm saying is that, like, in my opinion, why are we hesitant to rename some shit? I'm like for instance, they were talking about the military wants to get rid of all of the Confederate names on like, I think it's 11 bases.
Yeah, Fort Bragg. Fort Bragg is one. I did not know that.
And so I was like, why can't we rename Fort Bragg? I understand. Oh my goodness, you want to commemorate your time at Fort Bragg back in 85 or whatever because you're old as fuck. But again, it's Fort Bragg.
But I'm saying, do they really? Are those people who have opposition to it?
Yes, there are white people who say that shit should be left alone.
Yeah, but there's some black people who went there too, who I'm sure they spent the same amount of time and they're not as concerned.
It's a pretty big contingent of people who don't like the removing of Christopher Columbus statues, especially a lot of Italian Americans. They feel like Christopher Columbus legitimized them as true Americans. Because this was a time where the Irish, Italian Americans were treated pretty poorly in this country. I will never say they were treated like niggas, but they were treated worse than other white people. Okay, so they feel like having someone like Christopher Columbus is like, hey, we was here first. Let's not talk about the fact he didn't actually make it to North America.
Didn't he end up here first?
Who?
Amerigo Vespucci.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. They've done other accomplishments. You don't need Christopher Columbus to legitimize you. Christopher Columbus is just like, sometimes I wonder how he's famous. Why are you famous? What did you do?
There was actually a story written about how we actually got to that point, and it was not because of anything that he did. It was just some random ass people just decided that they would make him the poster boy for some shit and just ran with it. So there was nothing special about what he did. It was just the fact that somebody somewhere decided that they needed a poster boy, and he won a poster boy lottery.
I mean, I want the real history, and we got some great questions that have been posted. We got to get to, but I just want the real, because like, America is really thuggish, ruggish. If you think about it, like, how did we become America? We really gave a big FU to Britain, going, you know what? You ain't taxing us without any representation. You know what you do with your taxes? You know what? You know what we're gonna do? Come over here then. Come over here then. If you come on over and see about us. And then
this country was built on social unrest, and then when black people do social unrest, they're like, that ain't the right way to protest. Motherfucking ancestors built this country this way.
Hey,
it was right. I mean, I even say, like, we talk about how Americans are not always liked when we go overseas, but let's think about this. I've had this conversation. How many other countries do you know? Be up here talking about you need to speak English if you come to my country, and then we travel abroad and go. Does anyone speak English?
If they will treat you much better if you try. If you try.
But
except for France. Don't go to France. Don't go to France trying to talk that ibbly bibbly shit. They gonna be like that is
not that ibbly bibbly shit.
It is G Funchi.
Green money or whatever the euro is recognized everywhere. Just have plenty of that. And so our conversation is like, I don't speak your language, but I can pay for somebody who does. Like
I always tell people that when you go to these foreign countries, the people that want your money will speak English real fast. You ain't even gotta ask. They will. The people that want your money. Now the rest of them, they be like, I know English, but guess what? Fuck you. I'm not speaking it to your punk ass.
You could at least try.
Don't be like that.
But this
anyway,
is who we are. This is who we are.
What's the next question?
Anyway,
yeah, go to the next question because we'll talk about these motherfuckers all damn day.
Beyonce, DP said that Beyonce wrote a letter to the Kentucky Attorney General for the arrest of the officers that killed. It's Breonna, right?
Yeah,
Breonna Taylor. What do you feel about celebs getting political? Now I had a whole rant about this shit. I swear, like 2 episodes ago. I can't remember, but I am very anti celebs getting political because I feel like this is a lot of the problem we have with the Black community is that we don't have any real leaders. We don't need real leaders. Like we don't have people here that are here just for the sake. I am famous because I am here for you. Most of them are famous because they did something else, and then now we asking them what the fuck Ja Rule thinks. No, like this is exactly what Dave Chappelle was talking about. People are like, why didn't Dave Chappelle speak up? Who gives a fuck what Dave Chappelle thinks?
I got a theory about why that is. I got a theory about why that is. Because remember in the late 60s, early 70s, back during the civil rights era, right? You had a lot of our Black leaders assassinated. So you had a bunch of people who grew up during that time thinking like, do I really want to be a Black leader knowing that I'm gonna get assassinated? So what you end up with is a gap where there is not really anybody who wants to step up into that hole for, I guess you would call it, fear of being taken out, which gives you that lapse in continuity in order to keep the movement moving.
I don't mind them using that platform. Someone needs to be like, hey, I mean, Breonna Taylor's killers need to be brought to justice. They passed laws recently about no-knock warrants. Finally, right?
In one state, though.
I mean, in the state that she's in. And her killers are still at loose. Like what they did is now illegal. Yet the people who killed her before that was illegal are now running around. That doesn't make fucking sense. But the lack of people here that of actual Black community leaders leaves us asking Killer Mike what he thinks and Dave Chappelle what they think, and they're not necessarily for you. Their struggle ain't your struggle, and this is where me and my man Bad Guy, we differ. Well, we differ.
I think it depends on they study. Like the 2 people you just named are well versed in in the study of this Black American history and how we've gone down wrong paths and right paths. So I think if you know what you're talking about, you should have the right to open your mouth no matter what job you do. So as long as you study and have some kind of informed opinion, I think you should use your platform because it's going to be to our benefit.
Right.
But so, it's when you like you say, we criticize Colin Kaepernick because he didn't really have a plan. So it's when you have celebs like that do something, it's amazing. But like you say, you don't have the follow through. You just did something.
Or you Lil Wayne and you say something totally stupid.
Like he was a bitch doing it. Like he didn't do it at the height of him being the first string quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any
movement. It was, but it's like
I don't have any hate towards what Colin Kaepernick did.
Yeah, I got no hate for Colin Kaepernick.
My problem is that we keep looking back and keep saying, "Oh, well, Colin Kaepernick this. He needs to still get a job." Colin Kaepernick had a moment in time where he stood up for social justice, and it cost him. He fell on his sword for this. But the idea that now we need to go and put him back in that same construct, in that same slave mentality job that he had before, why would you want that? They just showed you who they really were, and you're like, well, I want my job back. Why the fuck would you want that job back? You are much better as a social activist than you ever was going back to those slave masters who told you that you couldn't kneel.
Well, one of the things it could be that he'll be a constant reminder of his victory.
Yeah,
so
he went to Nevada.
If he is there, he is like a kind of constant kick in the mouth that y'all fucked up and y'all lost. So it is that point.
Well, for me, I'm not concerned with people who know what they're doing, because I feel like Colin Kaepernick, Beyonce, certain people know what they're doing. My concern is with Lil Wayne, who comes out against everything, because he got in the hot water because of what he said. But if you were listen to what he said. But here's the funny thing that he said. He told the story about Uncle Bob, right? The white cop that saved his life when the black cops jumped over him, right? Then he turned around in the next breath and said, but the cops also have jump out boys, is what we call them, because they would just roll up with the door half open, and when they see you, they would all jump out and whoop your ass. It was like a clown car, and it was 30 of them. So basically, in two breaths, you just articulated what was wrong, but the breath before that, you said that it's right.
You need to. As soon as they interview this nigga, it was gonna go sideways. You know it. So you need to
wrap your mind around. He ain't never experienced racism.
That's because he forgot. He been high too long. He don't remember.
He's been under the influence for years.
That and he too rich to experience racism.
No,
it was funny because then he turned around and contradicted that same statement, because he said that, remember he also said that he was at the airport on a private jet, and he went to talk to the pilot, and the pilot told him to get out of the cockpit. I don't know what you're doing, and had to call the police on him. So when he landed at his private hangar, the police was out there to talk to him. He said, I talked to the police and they went on about their business, but I don't experience racism and I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
This sounds like
that's a choice to recognize what he wants to recognize.
This sounds like Michael Jordan and Republicans buy Jordans too. Like this feels like I'm giving you this line. What happened?
You froze, boy.
Yeah, but we can still hear you though.
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Yeah, hang on.
Got that message on his phone.
Oh, but I understand what he was saying though. He was saying that, like when Jordan said Republicans buy sneakers too. I'm not gonna comment on the racist white guy that was running for North Carolina Senate or whatever.
Harvey
Gantt, yeah. And against
black guy. We don't confuse people. Harvey Gantt was the black guy. That's the point.
Harvey Gantt was running against some racist ass white.
Jesse Helms. I mean, when I say Jesse Helms was a fucking racist nigga.
He was racist. He was prime 1960s racist mold reincarnated. I mean,
this should have been an easy choice. It should have been an easy choice.
But Jordan said that he wasn't gonna, get into that because he didn't know anything about that. And he said Republicans buy sneakers too and moved on about his life. I actually understand that, because what you're saying is I'm not gonna get involved in it. I got no problem with you not getting involved in it because he gave a little donation and he moved on with his life. Cool. Understand it. What I'm talking about is people who actually don't know what they're talking about and then interject themselves into it just because you got a little clout. And all of us are sitting here rubbing our temples like this got to be the
but see, here's the problem. When you do that, you're like, how can I tell Lil Wayne shut up and rap, and then say to somebody who's informed, oh no, but he's okay, you're okay, you can talk. I mean,
it's a little bit of like everything that we deal with. It's like we got free speech in this country, so we're gonna hear some things we agree with, and we're gonna hear some things where we like.
Hey, you don't get free speech from consequences. Your black ass can still get canceled. You can be Simone yourself.
All right.
So
Be Simone yourself.
We take the good with the bad. So I'm with the bad guy. I'm kind of like with the bad guy and with Thurman. It's like, just like because you are an actor or an entertainer, I don't think you should be a role model. Like that's not what you are. You are an actor or an entertainer. People then want to make them role models. Just because you have a platform, I don't expect you to speak out because like Country Boy said, if you're not informed and you're not going to bother to get informed, to have an educated, informed opinion, please shut up. Please don't speak for the black community because I get sick of that too. You have people speaking for the black community, and to Country Boy and the Bad Boys' point, if you've been rich longer, wealthy longer than you have remembered growing up as a kid, can you really speak to what the experience is if that's not what you're going through right now? It's like people who look like you want you to say you know what's going on, but do you? Do you really? Are you spending time?
Hey.
Do you spend weekends being in the places that you now are talking about?
Right.
Or are you coming down off of the mountain for a photo op and a speaking line that looks good while the cameras are there? If that is who you are, please stay where you are and be quiet.
And I think we need to leave it there and go to the next question because she encapsulated it.
You pretty much encapsulated it. I mean, we're good now. I don't think anything else to be said.
Nothing else. Just move on.
Jessica said, backstory, a guy hits me up on Facebook and says that he wants to take me to dinner. Upon making plans to hang out, he's pretty much trying to come to my house. I told him we could meet up. Then he said he wanted to go to the movies. Ain't no movie theaters open. So I told him I was taking myself to dinner. So if I get the gist, he tried to come through and smash. I mean, that's kind of feeling.
That's just kind of what it sounds like to me.
But in these times,
I can't be taking you to dinner without smashing first. What's wrong with you?
In these times, though, it's hard to judge because Rona got stuff weird. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like on a regular day where everything open, I could say, hey, she'd be like, hey, let's go to Chili's. And you're like, nah, I kind of want to just hang out. All right, I get what you're trying to do.
But about this because I'm like, ain't no movie theaters open. What movie he was?
Right. I don't know what he was trying to do.
So, he trying to make a movie.
Yeah, he's trying to make a movie.
Like I didn't understand what he was trying to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? Because because if you were trying to take her out or you're trying to go out on a date, right? That was your goal, right? If that's what you're trying to do, you put it out there. You at least put somewhere that's open and we can make plans. But how you just go from let's go out, I don't want to go out, let's go smash.
Yeah.
Like how you jump from
he played it wrong. If it would have been me, I'd have like, hey, I know ain't no places open, but I'll cook. You could come to me.
Right. I'll pick up some food from the restaurant and bring it to the house.
From the restaurant, bring it to the house. You just come over. And then afterwards,
you know, I can shoot my shot. Yeah. At least get you. I don't know. He just gave up on getting food. He just went dumb real fast.
I think that's what
I'll just come over to your house. What you got to eat?
I think he was trying to. Like you said, play it smooth. But he just didn't know he don't know what smooth is.
So that shit escalated real quick.
Yeah, he likes some cheap liquor. He ain't playing it smooth. You know what I'm saying?
He hit you with that. You want to go to dinner, and you replied. He was like, "Uh-oh, I'm in the dough." Yeah. He was like, "Ah, damn that dinner. Let's go to the movie." You know what? The movie's closed. You know what? Let me come over your house.
I knew a cat.
So. No, dating etiquette is not dead.
He tried it, and it's a pandemic, and he did a horrible job. Ain't no movie theater open. Like, at least you can go in and eat dinner right now. But what movie theater?
I have said that I think what the problem is that what you're seeing now is most of us of the microwave generation are like us in our late 30s, early 40s, and in this big gap. Right, who are used to things just happening with like that lickety split. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like he just probably was like, you know what? I shouldn't have to do no work.
Man.
I should go.
The reason why guys can do that or say that is because that shit has worked.
Yeah, it didn't work before.
It's the
best believe this ain't his first time trying.
No,
it was worth a try.
Oh,
yeah.
But he played himself as a result.
I got a funny story about that because somebody I know was hanging out with some friends, right? And one of the friends decided to wear a short dress, right? And they were partying at the club or whatever, and were dancing with somebody, and the dude put his hand under the dress, tried to go to the good stuff, and she had to shut him down. And they just couldn't fathom why that happened, what was going on with that, why he would try that, blah, 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 whatever. And I was like, he tried it because it may have worked one time.
No, it definitely didn't work before.
Like
thought it was okay.
Wow, he went straight to
You a rapist.
assault.
You are a rapist.
Like, hey, go
In
straight to
2020, you are an instant rapist. But you know, hey,
yeah, exactly.
the last person let me do it.
If they were at the club and he was drinking, even more so. Not right, but hey, I'm sorry, but I remember just back in the day walking through a club being inappropriately touched, walking through a club with jeans on. So
oh yeah, it definitely don't matter what you got on. We are from a generation of what that shit was the norm. But in 2020, you got to know better.
Well, see, the thing that I was saying was that the thing about it is that he knows that he can shoot that shot, right? And I was like, and the problem is that he knows that if he shoots that shot, he can either win or lose, right? But the loss does not. There's no punishment.
Don't deter him.
Yeah, there's no.
And he finna shoot that shot 50 more times before he leave the club. He gonna land one.
And the reason why was because the thing that they didn't do is they were all like,
"Yo, motherfucking ass."
We need to report him to the bouncer. We need to get his ass thrown out here. We need to call the cops. And guess what? The first thing she said was, "No, I don't want to do that. We're having a good time. Let's just forget about it. Let's move on." And I was like,
I'm off. Like you say, instant gratification go both ways. He could have caught them hands right then and there. They could have jumped his ass. He was probably half drunk. They could have stomped him out and kept on dancing. They don't know to put the women out.
Coordination was gonna be all off.
Oh, right. They know. They probably wouldn't even put the women out. They probably still would have drugged him up out of there because they gonna figure he did something wrong.
But see,
they would be right.
And see, that's the thing though, is that like they weren't prepared to go that next step, and so to deter him. So guess what my man's gonna do?
You always got to have that one friend that you take out that's always ready to turn up. He did what, girl? Oh hell no!
Hell no!
On his ass.
Take my earrings off.
That's what's up.
I wear clip-ons just for this.
I knew somebody was gonna try that shit today. I wore my good stilettos.
Exactly. I'm ready. Let's go.
Right in the back of the head.
So going back to the original question, which is dating etiquette dead? No, dating etiquette is not dead. However, what you've got is you've got some people who are willing to take their shot because it worked one time, and they are willing to try that every other time after that in the hopes that they repeat or it works again.
And let's be real honest. In a time of the pandemic, you're going to get more people shooting their shot going, women got needs too. I wonder if they are backed up as I am. So let me just take it and cast my rod and see who's sick and tired of being
cast.
With all these apps too, all these dating apps, you just one of 100.
Exactly.
You one of 100.
I shoot my shot 50 times and only one of them says yes. I won. I still fucking won. I only need one.
That's it. I can't. And I said that's what, because like they did a whole docu-series on the whole swipe right, swipe left generation, which is what we're in now, where like people aren't interested in building relationships anymore because they know that with one swipe they can get some new. So in this swipe left, swipe right generation, got a lot of mofos that are taking advantage of that opportunity because they know, oh well, if I miss with her, I just swipe right again. What did
Rick say? Rick say his percentages on social media or like dating apps and in real life were about the same. He said, I'm shooting about 20-30% everywhere. So what's the point? I might as well just try you in real life than trying you on this damn app because my percentages are the same. Which I can understand that.
Yeah, but the difference is in real life, you actually got to go to approach somebody. You got to talk to them. They got to see you. On an app, I'm just swiping back and forth. And I didn't put pictures on my profile that are like 10, 20 years old. So I look my best.
It showed up. Well, you here now. This is me now. What are you going to do?
So, you know, and you might run into somebody who did the same thing. And
I had a 6-pack in 95.
95, right? Yeah, it was 95. This is what I could look like if you do the right thing.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, it's just like LinkedIn profiles. Y'all have seen some LinkedIn profiles where you like, chick, you look like that 20 years ago. That ain't how you look now, your old haggard ass.
Oh my
And
God.
so,
Wow, that escalated so quickly.
Real fast. Somebody suckered you in, didn't you? You got on LinkedIn.
I'm gonna say that wasn't general. He had a name and a face for that statement.
Oh, yeah,
that was very specific. Like you know someone.
I know a couple of them that didn't put them 30-year-old pictures on LinkedIn, and you like, boo boo, you at work looking like hot trash. That ain't what you look like. That ain't you, boo boo. That ain't you.
Hey man, everybody got their will winner, right? They shooting their 50 shots too.
So we got a new question.
Pretty.
For my birthday weekend, Wild and Gulf Shores, I got a tarot card reading. Have you ever gotten one? What are your thoughts? The psychic was about 95% accurate. I am, and you know what? Out of this bunch, I think I'm the most. What's the word I'm looking for? Not skeptical.
Gullible?
I am skeptical,
No.
but I am the most gullible of the bunch. I am skeptical, but I am the most gullible of the bunch. I'm the kind of dude who will believe in ghosts. I'm the kind of dude who will believe in UFOs and shit. That said, that psychic shit, I'll be like,
I don't know though. Do y'all ever be reading a little shit to the paper with your sign, and you be like, "How do these motherfuckers know me?"
I am so against signs though, because the idea that the moon and the stars could tell me what kind of person you're going to be on a Tuesday, that don't make sense. That's ridiculous to me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, we constantly say history repeats itself, so people and personality can't be far behind, right? To push that agenda of the same shit happening over and over, you need a constant flow of the same type of person to come through, right?
I know people born the exact same day as me, and we ain't nothing alike.
Yeah.
So
I feel like people look for things in the horoscope that fit them. They're like, "Oh, nigga, I'm mean." They say
That's
I was mean. And then when they're asshole, they're like, "Oh, well, I'm just an asshole because I'm a Leo." No, nigga, you're
just
a
an
bad
asshole.
person.
So you made a conscious decision to be an asshole.
Exactly.
I said that.
You got to go ahead and ran with it.
Look,
Right.
I feel like it's just like online dating. When people are doing online dating, what do? It's like deep sea fishing for mass fish. So you just cast the net out there. So these psychics, they just cast the net out there, and when they start hitting something and pulling up fish, they like, oh well, I'm winning. And now all of a sudden, you think this person know me.
That shit
Well,
will be a
first
little
off-
weird when you face to face though, right? You face to face and she start calling your ass out on shit. That would kind of
Well,
freak me
my-
out too.
But you also like the idea
Told her a
of,
bunch of stuff beforehand.
Yeah, it depends on how many. Yeah, like if I'm saying in the instance where you ain't revealed nothing, you just walk up and told her your name, and she started going from there. It's like, oh shit.
I got a reading once with my mom at the fucking Renaissance Fair. I'm just going to show you how cheap this tarot card reading was. And this lady told me that I was going to be a preacher, and in my mind, she's like, I see a man in the cloth. You're going to be a preacher one day. And when she said that, I was like, bitch, you must not really know me. You must not really know me, because that is nothing.
Hey, I'm gonna count on her side. She was almost right? You might not have been a preacher, but you like to talk. And now look what you're doing. Now you on the podcast preaching your own gospel. You might not be preaching the gospel of the Bible, but you sure out here giving them smikism.
She got you, coach.
So she was close.
And
That's my man.
I go to church. So
Right.
Hey, you ain't but like 2 steps away, bro.
Right. You ain't but 2 steps removed.
I am so done. Next question.
No.
Jessica asks, when do y'all think the COVID-19 will end? What are your predictions?
Oh wow. I'll be honest with you, and this is gonna get political because they made it political. The whole pandemic has become this like left, right. If you wearing a mask, you progressive. If you not wearing a mask, you're on the right. And with that, that's gonna prolong this. We're gonna be at this for a while because they're not playing it correctly. You know what I'm saying? Like when they started in the phase 1, people started completely like, fuck these masks, fuck social distancing. I'm going to the store. You go to the store now, it's like what, like you lucky if it's 50-50. You wearing masks versus not wearing masks. And the whole thing is they're like, well, if I get sick, it'll be okay. But that's not the reason why you wear masks. You wearing a mask to prevent your nasty ass from passing your asymptomatic germs to everybody else. I don't want what you have. I'm trying not to get sick.
Right.
So if you tell me that, I just don't see how this is going to come to a quick end. I don't know when I'll be able to go back to church. I don't.
I think it's going to be a constant cycle like with the flu. I think it's going to be a new disease that comes around seasonally from here out there, and they're going to give us these bullshit ass antidotes or shots, vaccines, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to get a continual cycle of people just dying for no fucking reason because we want to go outside and play. We want our kid to go play baseball out here with some other kids, but you don't want them to go to school. Like, this shit is crazy.
Our current government is playing this pandemic. Is like you flooded your engine, and then you decide, well, I'm gonna keep my engine to this motherfucker work.
Yeah, and somebody said just gonna acceptable losses. We in this point of acceptable losses. We feel like we're gonna lose about 10%, and that's okay.
The flu, I mean, that's how we treat the flu. I mean, outside of certain systems like healthcare systems that make unless you are allergic or it's religious reasons, getting the flu vaccine mandatory. Flu vaccine is optional. It's not mandatory. It's something that comes around every year. We know it comes around every year. We know people die from the flu every year, and it's just one of those things. How long it's gonna last? Ain't no telling. It really isn't. It may become seasonal, like the bad guy said. Because here's my confusion. They keep telling us that the numbers are going up, which we anticipated. That's not a shocker. We knew the numbers would go up because they're testing more, and they lift the restrictions, allowing people to be together, and they weren't social distancing. And there are more hospitalizations, but with it, they keep opening up more. Like we keep going
opening up more shit.
So what message are you sending telling us the numbers are going up, but you keep reopening?
Go on, die. That's the message.
South Carolina,
go on, die.
How ridiculous this shit is. In South Carolina, they were like, Henry McMaster, who sounds like Blanche's brother. Sounds like Blanche's brother on Golden Girls.
Leave Blanche Devereaux's boyfriend alone.
It sounds like Blanche's brother or your boyfriend on Golden Girls. But
leave Blanche Devereaux boo alone.
Blanche. You know I love you, Blanche. Anyway, back to let your hand. He said that he declared an emergency in South Carolina while simultaneously opening up more businesses. How the fuck? How does this work in your brain? How does this resonate? DeSantis, Ron DeSantis, we know he's a piece of shit. We know he's a piece of shit. I get it. He said that we are seeing a spike in the younger demographic, which is a group of people who can fight the virus better than an older group. So this is okay. 35% spike in one day in Florida. You're going to tell me that this is the right way to play this? This is super dangerous. You're just like, fuck it. Here goes
what you have.
I don't give a shit.
Here goes what you have with the whole COVID-19 thing. First off, they don't have enough tests performed in order to do enough research to really have any answers. So basically, they don't even know if they're running the right test. Right. So anything the three of us throw out there could be just as correct as whatever the fuck they throwing out there, right? Because, like, in my opinion, you need at least a good 10-week random sampling in order to really nail down the details. And of that, you're probably gonna need at least 10% of the random population to be tested. Out of 350 million Americans, that's 35 million tests. That's what you need. We got like what, 2 million? So we don't even have but like 1% of the tests that we need in order to really know anything about this disease. That's first off. Second off, the whole thing was that we were just trying to keep emergency rooms and everything like that from being flooded with people, sick people saying I got COVID and needing to be on respirators, this, that, and the other. So basically, to be honest with you, if they would have done the testing, which was tracing, which was what the Obama playbook was said that you were supposed to do, but Trump burned it instead of using it. He burned it. Then you get what you got now, which is a hodgepodge mess of people trying to construct things and do things in order to move us forward. And you get Dr. Fauci making stuff up as he go, the WHO making stuff up as they go, and the Chinese government and
there we go.
There's nothing that you can have possibly to happen. And so my prediction is that we are probably, some of us are going to live in fear for the next like probably 2 years.
Right.
The other half of us are going to do what the fuck we want to. Yeah. And somewhere in there, you're going to end up with probably, I would say, anywhere from 200 to 300,000 people dying of this up until they find some sort of vaccine.
And how many people died during Vietnam? Like, I'm trying to figure out whether or not this is more Americans than.
Oh, just look.
I think we passed it.
Just look at how many people they estimate die from the flu every year.
It's like 44,000.
Just look at how many people they estimate. You can go to cdc.gov and they trace, because it's an estimate, just like they're estimating deaths related to COVID. They will estimate adult deaths related to the flu every year. And it's an astronomical number every year. And we have a vaccine. So you don't have to pick a war. Because
so,
about the pandemic of the flu that hit this country. And this is now our biggest pandemic, I think, since then. Don't quote me on that one. I ain't look up nothing.
Like last year, we had about 35,000 deaths due to the flu. Every year. Huh?
You sure it was that low?
Yeah, it was that low. Because like.
I think it's like 50. It's like close to 50, isn't it? From the
flu? It's 35. It wasn't. The problem with the thing about the flu is that people get flu shots. And they encourage all old people to get flu shots.
Yes, them.
I got a flu shot.
And so if you look at it, the people who died from COVID, I mean,
they tracking me now.
Were most likely older people. And so like a lot of old people died from COVID because, like, let's be honest, I mean, like, you old, anything will take you out.
Wow.
Hey, but I'm over here tripping off this DP comment. And the goddamn church said, yeah, you come by here and drop these tithes and offering off, but the pastor ain't gonna be here. Pastor ain't gonna be here. Pastor say we can't risk his life. You can risk yours.
Oh wow. We got a question about what's something that you learned during this pandemic.
Hey, who feedbacking? Somebody's feedbacking.
Kenny to turn it down.
You know I got to get that.
So
we know some headphones came with the iPhone.
Look,
I'm gonna send some. Next time I'm over Kenny's house, I'm gonna send some headphones over there. I'm gonna be like, hey.
Remember, it's my old laptop. I got the headphones, and when I plugged it in, you can't hear me. So I'm working on a new laptop. I'm working on it.
Hey, we're work in progress, right?
I'm over there. You need to let me IT support that joint. Shit. Anyway, we had a question about something. What did we learn during the pandemic and that you didn't know prior related to country and society? So, wow. I learned that the police don't give a fuck about us, and white folks don't either. Like, they like really upset about this shit. Like, they like, y'all protesting. Like, just last week you were mad because you couldn't get a fucking haircut. We're
exactly. Y'all out here protesting for a haircut.
Yes, they're protesting because of a massage. Because
we're out here protesting because a man got many men, white and black, out here getting beat the fuck up and killed, and y'all mad.
You mad? You're like,
I'll be out there like It's almost like they don't know the police beating up white people too. Like, goddamn, we got to get together on this. They don't give a fuck.
I need y'all to be on my dude. Police during these riots, police are beating up. They knocked down in Buffalo. They knocked down that 75-year-old man. Right, white guy.
He almost dead. He almost dead.
He almost dead. They are willing to assault a 75-year-old white man just so they can keep whooping your black ass.
I mean, they beat up the Chicago police beat up like some kind of like city representative of the police. I forget what he was, but I'm like, and he just praised them like an hour before that. Was giving them praise, saying that they had handled everything correctly. They were good guys. They were doing a good job. He turned around, was walking his ass back to the car and got his ass beat down.
Yesterday, what was that Friday when God, what's the dude's name? Rashad? Was it Rashad Brooks? The guy that got shot in Atlanta.
Yeah, I know you're talking about the one that got shot, the drunk guy.
Yeah. Was it Rashad?
I don't remember his name.
Anyway, so I'm watching the video and I'm watching them talk about how
I don't think I've seen this video.
Don't watch it.
I sent it to you.
Don't watch it.
There are two different videos going around. One of them I can watch, but I don't like it because what happened was he beat up. Basically, he got into a tussle match with the cops. Right? They tased him. He jumped up, took off running. As soon as he took off running, they ran up behind him, and then a policeman shot him a couple times as he was running away.
In the back?
Well,
I don't know
have
if
we
it was in the
learned
back.
nothing?
I don't know if it was in the back. I just know they shot him.
You can't win doing that because the guy that he didn't realize he was being filmed when he shot the guy in the back in South Carolina. I think it was in Charleston.
But see, here's the thing. In Atlanta, they were at a Wendy's. That Wendy's drive-through, because I seen both videos. That Wendy's drive-through was full of people. It was backed up. When they came up, that drive-through was damn near in the street. When they approached him, this conversation was chill and could have been de-escalated multiple times by the police. All they had to do was like, yo, he was like, can I walk home? They could have been like, because he had not done anything up until that point, other than being asleep and drunk in his car.
Nope, that's a DUI.
The car was not on.
It doesn't matter. If you are behind the wheel, it's a DUI.
Well, I thought the keys had to be in the car with you. Like if the keys outside the car, you can drop your keys on the ground and you can get in the car and go to sleep. Your keys just can't be in the car.
Let's just say that's bullshit.
Either way is bullshit. If the man ain't got the car cranked up and he in there asleep, he doing the right thing.
And and so
shot in the back is not the verdict for a DUI.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if he was shot in the back. Let's all be clear. We don't know that.
The second video shows
you say he was shot while he was running away, right? So you're not a threat. You get shot when you're not a threat. That's wrong.
The video shows him getting shot in the back. Because what happens is he's getting ready to get arrested. He proceeds to whoop the dog shit out of these two cops. Out of two cops. And pull and grabs. He has one on the ground. He grabs his taser
and takes off
and points it at one of them and then takes off. And as he's running away, he turns around and points the taser at one of the cops. And the cop that he had on the ground shoots him. Like you can hear it. You can see it go from like him running away. He turns around and points. And then as he's turning back around to continue running away, they're like, pop, 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 pop. And he falls. When you're watching this, I feel two things. I'm like, nigga, you played this all wrong. Like,
yeah.
You played this all wrong. This is exactly how
you gotta hit mute.
This is exactly how black people get shot. The first thing I thought when I saw it, this is exactly how black people get shot. The second thing I thought was, though, he was not a threat to them. At no point during this entire time was he a threat to the police. They were just upset because he whooped their ass. You know what I'm saying?
They took an L.
In front of 30 people. You know, and he was upset about that. And honestly, I mean, the fact that they burned down that fucking Wendy's, good for them. Fuck them. Fuck that Wendy's. Protest. Do what you got to do, because the grace that is shown to white people and people of other races is never shown to us. We have to play these police encounters all completely perfect every single fucking time, just to come out of it alive. I'm here.
Well, see,
last week
it ain't remember. It ain't that many graces. And I will say what I've learned. Well, I won't say I've learned. What I appreciate is we are not by ourselves. We are the people who are protesting right now and leading the charge for the protest, because it's people who look like us that is making it to more of the media attention. But it ain't just us. It is not just us, and it's not just us who are upset and sick and tired of being sick and tired. It's not just us. It is not just Black people out there protesting. It is not. It's a whole bunch of people who are just like, they are fed up. This doesn't make any sense. The fact that there's no regulation, the fact that people essentially get a badge and can kill, and there's no consequences.
Yeah, we saw that.
Sick of that. People are sick of that. And it's not just Black people who are sick of that. It's multiple people who are sick of that.
I feel though that we all should be sick of it.
You said a white woman burned down that window.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw her in there pouring in whatever, some fluid into that window. And then later, right, a couple minutes later, that motherfucker was in flames.
Look, here's the thing that I think that the problem I have with police. Here's the problem I have with police, because I've told y'all this several times. Anytime I see the police come, I go the opposite way. I'm not your witness. I didn't see shit. I don't know shit. I ain't do shit.
That way though. We all of us are law-abiding citizens, and we're trained to not fuck with the police, even though we have nothing.
So here's the problem I have. I think, in my opinion, policing is the only job where you are in charge of doing everything related to anything. Like when you go to the doctor's office, you don't go see a heart surgeon about your kidneys, do you? You don't go see a heart surgeon about your brain, right?
You shouldn't.
Right, you don't. It doesn't have. They refer you to a specialist. So explain to me why the same policeman who shows up for a domestic violence dispute is the same policeman who can stop you for a traffic ticket. Is the same policeman who shows up if you've been robbed. Is the same policeman that shows up if you've been raped. Is the same policeman that shows up if the kids vandalizing your something. It's all of the and I'm like, there's no way that you could train one person to handle all of those situations the same way. A mental ill person is acting a fool. Why are we calling the cops? Somebody ran a stop sign. What the fuck is the cop doing? I mean, like, why come we can't start in this day and age specializing cops to handle certain problems, and instead of trying to pile more ish on them, start taking some stuff off?
That's one of the people. One of the reasons people are like, when they talk about defunding the police department, they're not talking about trying to completely abolish the police department. They're talking about taking some of that funding that would have went to you buying a fucking armored tank,
right? And starting some safety patrols.
Yeah,
like at some what point we gonna get back to? Right, when we gonna get back to the point where the police are more of a deterrent than they are we gonna hide in the bush and catch you after. Why not be out here and be like, instead of getting these undercover cars, get something that's bright fucking on so they know the police is in these neighborhoods, and just be a fucking deterrent. You can stop crime before it happens. We got to the point where we stopped trying to stop crime before and trying to catch you doing shit. Let's get back to the point where we gonna get ahead of shit instead of being in the aftermath of it and making shit worse.
Or better yet, like, for instance, traffic stops. Somebody brought this up. Like, why are cops in charge of traffic stops? Like, why do you need an armed police officer to pull you over for speeding? Because when he pulls you over for speeding, all he's going to do is run your plate, write you a ticket, hand it to you. You go home, and when you get home, you're going to decide whether you fight it or pay it.
Right.
So why do we need this guy with this gun who has just came from a domestic violence dispute, and he's already high from that adrenaline pump because two people were fighting? Why do we need him now interacting with somebody who just ran a stop sign?
When those police departments get really busy, traffic enforcement is one of the first things to go. Like, as Charlotte has gotten bigger, that's the first thing that I've noticed, is that our police department is way too fucking busy to play hall monitor with your dumb ass. They just not gonna do it no more. You run these lights, they don't even flinch no more. You know what I'm saying? But to that point, pulling people over is one of their more dangerous encounters. Like, because whenever you pull somebody over, yeah, you run their plate and you have an idea of who you're encountering, but you don't really know till you pull up to that dude. You know what I'm saying? And lots of cops have gotten shot just that way, pulling up because some dude was like, "Hey, I ain't going back. You know?
Yeah, but when you say lots, what's the percentage of that shit really happening? You know, I ain't saying it don't happen. And then it's training. If you get shot, that
I think they were like 30th in far as most dangerous profession.
Right. So policing ain't even the most dangerous job out there. So I mean, it's training that can deal with shit. Like if you feel that uncomfortable, it's okay to wait for backup, and then y'all just get a man his ticket and he keep fucking moving.
Or why you even got to pull him over? Why not just issue the ticket, mail it to his house?
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
That's
like I feel like a lot more shit should be linked to your tag. But I mean, sometimes it's not you driving your car. So I think you can at least identify the person. Hey, you see their name. Are you such and such? And they like, yeah, that's me. All right, you got a ticket coming to your house. You ain't even got to roll the fucking window down. You could be on your way. You ran that stoplight back there. You can talk to the judge about it.
And that's my thing is that like also look at the simple fact of like the Wendy's guy. Okay, he will sleep at the Wendy's, right?
Was he alive?
Yeah,
no,
I think he was
in the parking lot. He was just sitting in the parking lot asleep. He was drunk.
Who called the police on him?
Wendy's. That's why they burned that motherfucker to the ground.
So he in the car asleep in the parking lot, parked in the parking space?
Yes. He was chilling. He wasn't bothering nobody.
What the fuck you even worried about this dude?
And see, that to me is the problem, is that like the cops who showed up, they're automatically probably taught to arrest. That's it. Because we need this money, so you need to arrest him, put him in the system. My whole thing is like, okay, well, most of the time late at night like that, they're gonna be drunk people. So why don't we have cops specially trained to deal with drunk people?
I don't know.
Or a cop with some damn sense to walk up and say, "Oh, that man just sleep in the car, man. Leave him be."
I feel like some of this needs to be some critical thinking skills. Like you could seriously just de-escalate all these situations. That particular situation, I really don't feel like warranted. I need to take you to jail because of what you are doing. Go home. If I come back through here, I'm gonna be back in 20 minutes. If you are still here, you are going to fuck the jail. But right now, I'm going to give you an opportunity to leave. You know, this don't really need to be this way. It didn't need to be this way.
But here's the thing. I hear about the drunk tank. I don't know of the drunk tank, but I've heard of it. And from my understanding, those people are not arrested. They literally go sleep it off.
Sleep it off and get out the next day.
Exists? I mean, I don't drink. I don't know. But I've heard about the drunk tank. Is the drunk tank?
But I think that's more small town ish, right? Because you know people and you kind of looking. I feel like the small town police used to have more of an opportunity to look out for people, right? You're like, I know such and such. Look, man, I'm just gonna take it down. Hey, you sleep this shit off, and you take your ass on in the morning. But police, like Country Boy said, they just could have let. Hey, man, the man said, just let me walk home. All right, go home, man.
Or
case closed.
Get out of here.
But see, I think it's a lot of it is that like
but
they feel like if you show
you got that ass whooped, now you got to shoot somebody.
If you show any disrespect to them, all of a sudden they go from 1 to 100.
That's against the law. It's against the law to disrespect the police.
Yeah. Like if you talk back to, I mean, I'm like, these are people. I don't know whether they are just super sensitive or what it is, but like anytime you say anything to a cop, all of a sudden he go to, I'm gonna take you to jail. Mm-hmm. Like, bruh, I just said fuck you. Like, I mean, hell, I done been in the parking lots and motherfuckers done said fuck you, and I just be like, hey, fuck you too, when they gone on about their business or whatever. I ain't never shot nobody because they said fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So as a cop, why are you so sensitive that like somebody could curse at you and you just lose your fucking mind?
Especially when you cuss all day and you out here cussing too. Now you were offended because somebody else cussing?
And here's the other issue. Not that it is right by any means, but none of these are death sentences. I agree. Some of these are things you shouldn't be arrested for, but in no way, shape, fashion, or form can you make an argument that any of these are things that you
death sentences.
I'll be honest with you. They probably could have killed him when he had them on the ground and he reached at his belt. They could have killed him. Because he could have been reaching at his gun.
That would have been a little bit more justified.
But when he got away and he was running away from you,
When you run in your car, and if you bump him with your car, don't roll over him. Now, I didn't say that, but if you bump him with your car, I may be okay with that. But that's still not shooting him while he's running away. Get in your car.
If you look at these,
hit him with the car though.
Run him
down. These instances, and you say
over him, but you should catch him in your car.
If you look at these instances and you say, if this person was a civilian, would this shit be okay? And this shit still, if it's murder, then it's fucking murder. If that guy was in your house, if he was in your house and he's running away from your house and you shoot him in the fucking back, you are going to jail for murder. You know what I'm saying?
Whoa. Depends on which state you in.
Yeah, definitely. Like Texas.
Mississippi,
If you in Texas,
depending on what state you in. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
but I get what you're saying, because like in my opinion, a lot of times I hate when police do this. I hate when police feel like they have to chase somebody. Yeah. Because I told y'all about this one time before, like in where I'm from in Jackson, Mississippi, there was some people, they broke into the Clinton Walmart, or they stole some stuff from the Clinton Walmart. Clinton is like the suburb of Jackson, so it's where the white people stay at, right? So they stole the stuff, drove out of Clinton back into Jackson, and the Clinton police were still chasing them. Chased them around for probably about another like 30 minutes. That car ended up with the criminals in it, ended up veering over into another lane, went head on and killed a guy trying to go home for work. And my whole thing was just the same thing with this guy. You've got his car. You've got tag numbers. His
car. You got pictures.
If he runs away, hey, bro, keep running. It don't matter. Tomorrow morning, show up at his door, knock on it. Hey, it's you. You got to come with us.
Now, I don't agree with the car chases, and I can't remember if it's Philadelphia or I know it's a couple bigger metropolitan cities that have done away with car chases because of
they're stupid.
They're dangerous.
But he's running on foot. Like, you can catch him. Like, he's on foot. How far is he?
Hey, you already know who he is. His car's still there.
You got his car.
You know where he lives.
But if you so concerned that you ain't got the right man, there's no reason if you're not in shape to catch him. He's drunk and running on foot. Really? All you gotta do is wait it out. He gonna lay down somewhere.
And he's giving them all the information. He's giving them everything to identify him. By the time this thing escalated, they knew everything about him.
They breathalyzed him.
Yeah, they was to chase him. But
so, like, you didn't need to chase him.
He told him he had been drinking. You knew when he came up that he was drunk. You knew that. And actually he was doing people a solid because nigga, do you know how many people I know would have tried to drive home?
I mean,
look, it's been our rhetoric to hey, just pull over. If you know you out here driving drunk, pull over somewhere and sleep it off. And now you dying for doing the right thing?
Yeah, that's foolishness.
If he's running away, you can't shoot him.
Like I said before, in my opinion, anybody who is trying to evade the cops, just let them go if you got their tag number. You got the tag number, you got the description of the car, let them go. That's what police should be doing, tracking down criminals.
I agree.
So, oh man. Anyway, I guess we'll move on. I don't have any more fucking questions. But he did ask a question about what we learned, and this is not about country, this is or society, but I fixed my dryer while we was on quarantine. So if you know anything about how dryers work, it's basically a motor wrapped around a belt that goes around a drum, and it just spins that bitch and heats it up. That's it. It's actually a very simple machine. So one day the goddamn belt fell off, and it was like boom. I was like, yo, and it stopped working. And we got these things like 2 years ago. So I was like, yo, I'm not buying another fucking dryer. I'm not buying. Like, I'm gonna fix this. Like, whatever I gotta do, I'm gonna fix it. So I went in there, I Googled it, YouTube this shit, and fixed it. And like, hey, just the moment of truth. And that thing started spinning. I was like, 20 minutes later, Shantae come in and like, babe, it broke again. And I was like, and she looked at my face. I was like, Okay. She's like, I'm playing. You look so sad.
Hey,
You fucking right, I'm sad.
that's how I feel about my my refrigerator. We got the refrigerator and thought we was gonna have to buy another one or pay somebody to come over and fix it. And I went in and I took the inside of the refrigerator out, the cores or whatever had frozen over completely. So my partner came over. He was like, "Yeah, you just take this off," and we looking in there. This shit melted. I'm like, "Man, I don't know what the fuck is going on in this refrigerator." He's like, "Yeah, get you a hairdryer. We're gonna try to defrost this thing." Hey, the refrigerator working again, and we're gonna see if it do it again.
Really?
We in there trying shit.
I got a new project. The dishwasher, because man, we have been in a house about 6 years. The shit's starting to fall apart. So the dishwasher and something I didn't know when you buy a house, and nobody told me this, but the things that come in the house were shit that they bought at the lowest bidder.
Yeah.
Like this is the cheapest. This is the cheapest fucking dishwasher.
Builder grade is not what you want. Builder grade is what you gonna max out until you buy something of quality.
Because the same thing happened with the garage door opener, and we had to buy a new garage door opener. And then the difference between the garage door opener that I have now and the one I had before, like, hey, it was about this big. The old one was about this big. This goddamn big.
Hey, I did the same thing with my garbage disposal because I was about to go get the same builder's grade that they put in there, but then I was like, wait a minute, you mean to tell me that there's actually a rating for a garbage disposal? And so I'm looking around, I look at it's like 1/4 of a horsepower, and I went and bought a garbage disposal that was like 1 horsepower. So you mean to tell me that they put something that can do 1/4 of the work the thing I got in there now does? Get the y'all
dude.
And it's not super duper expensive. Like it's to go up to a better quality, whatever, is not super duper expensive, and it's a night and day difference. I'm just gonna max out everything. Get money on unpaid because it really wasn't free. It really wasn't wet in the house. So I'm like, listen, you trash, but I'm gonna suffer through for another 4 years and get my money.
When our garage door broke, and they came and was like, yo, so for 2 months, I was getting up in the morning and opening the garage door for Shantae and then putting it back down. And now if there's one thing you don't know how heavy a fucking garage door is. You gotta lift that bitch unassisted every morning, every goddamn morning. I was like, it's like, babe, can you pick this up? I was like, just one day, I need you to do this yourself. I'm dying. My legs are burning. Anyway, so we go, and the guy was like, you have the minimum required horsepower or whatever they grade these things on to lift your door. This thing is a hamster in a wheel. Like, this is the worst fucking garage door you could have gotten to lift this. It's straining every time up on your door. The fact that it made it this long is a fucking miracle. It's a miracle. So he's like, you can pay us $500 and we will bring you we'll do garage door, install it, everything. Or you can go buy one and for $250, I think it was $250, it might be $200, we'll install it. So in my mind, I'm like, well, I know what kind of garage door I need to buy to beat it. And he told me what to get. He's like, get this because these are good. I was like, bet. So I go to Home Depot and I'm like, oh, this shit only $135. So it was like $150 or something. I was like, 150 is less than 250. I'm already winning. I'm already fucking winning. I went and bought that thing. I called that dude. I was like, yo, go ahead and put this in. I got the whole thing installed. He was like, yeah, this is a very good unit. I know it is. You told me what to get, goddamn it. Oh man, I was winning that day. It come up ultra, like, man, when I open it now, it's like you can't even hear it. It's like the winds. That old one was loud. I'm proud of myself. I told you guys I'm gonna do my next goal is to do the dishwasher. The dishwasher doesn't drain anymore. So I'm like, I've been on YouTube. I think something wrong with the pump. I'm like, how to replace a dishwasher pump. Ooh.
No, you be better off just going ahead and buying a new
She was
dishwasher.
homeless for 4 years. Jesus
Who homeless?
Christ.
She talking about
B. Simone.
B. Simone.
Oh, I
I
haven't
don't know.
talked about B. Simone, but if you guys want to talk about it, me and Shantae been talking about it.
I don't know about B. Simone.
I've been giving out. I've been giving out government names all day today. Anyway,
All day.
so the only thing I will say about B. Simone, because this has been funny, it's been hilarious watching someone race to the bottom, is that she plagiarized a book from stuff on a blog when all she had to do was pay someone on Fiverr like $100 and they would have wrote the whole goddamn book for you. Like, the fact that you plagiarize work and you could have paid someone to do it is just beyond me. It blows my mind. And as far as plagiarism is concerned, all you have to do is change the words and put them in your own words. You look at something, you're like, oh, I wouldn't have said it like that. I'd have said it like this. Boom. Now it's your work. And it's exactly the same. Like, I don't understand how you ain't changed nothing.
Because she didn't go to college. That's college 101. In college, you learn, oh, I just need to say that, but I need to say it a different way. Oh, man, you'll be surprised how many commas, ands, and buts can help you to formulate your own from something you just read off of Wikipedia.
That's just what I'm saying. Like, it's so disappointing to me, somebody who, and I honestly, she was a millionaire. She's a millionaire now because she wanted people to help her become a millionaire. And that's her only claim to fame, is really that she asked people to help her. Hey, help me make $1 million. And they bought this fucking book and all her stuff that she bought from China and help her get rich. And I'm like, why would you fuck this up? Don't say nothing. Stop talking. Stop talking.
I'm a real hustler. You finna hustle yourself right up out these checks.
Exactly. Talk about 9-to-5ers. Like, hey, one of the things about being a 9-to-5er, and I get what she's saying, she wants somebody who has a similar hustle to her. But if you date someone with the same fucked up schedule with you, when are y'all gonna see each other? Me, on the other hand, I'm home at 5 o'clock every day. You can set your goddamn schedule around my black ass. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be here. You know exactly where I'm gonna be when I'm gonna be there. Both of y'all can't be chaotic. Like, this don't make sense to you at all.
Well, I think what she's doing is what most people do, which is you figure that if you get with somebody just like you, y'all are gonna be twice as good together as you are by yourself, I guess is the best way to put it. So you figure, oh man, if I get with another hustler, me and that other hustler, we gonna be twice as good as we is now. We're gonna be, and in my opinion, it don't work like that, because like, you gotta have somebody who is, I think, different than you in certain aspects, because that person being different than you helps you to be who you are and continue to matriculate through the process.
And having somebody that's different than you can give you perspective on things that you may have forgotten, that you're like, oh, I didn't realize that was a thing. So it can be like, hey, don't say that. Because what happened, something similar happened to Desi. With Desi, they tried to cancel Desi Banks. And the first comment was like, nigga, take this down. Don't say that. If you have people around you who can tell you immediately that this what you posted or what you said or what you're doing is fucking stupid, and you won't have these problems. Like, all of us out here can look at what B. Simone did and plagiarizing that book from blog posts from white people at that. Hey, that's a bad move. Don't do that. Don't do that.
And especially in this day and age of computer programs, where because I remember back in the day when I first started college, right? I'm gonna show my age. Back in '99 when I first started college, you used to cut and paste from Wikipedia, and nobody would be the wiser.
Right.
About 3 years into my college experience, the software to basically where they could scan your paper into the computer and could highlight basically whole passages that you had cut and paste was predominant, and so your professor would hand you your paper back with a bunch of red marks on it and be like, I'm gonna give you one chance to rewrite this paper. You can either rewrite this paper or you can see yourself at the dean and explain to him why you plagiarizing. And at that point in time, you usually take the thing, duck your head, and go on back and rewrite that motherfucker the right way.
Now you turn it in online, and it's most of them have a certain percentage you have to come under. Like,
yeah,
it's
instantaneous.
Paraphrasing, which you can do, and you can cite it. And I had to look up this chick because I'm like, I don't know who she is. And I looked at her and I was like, I don't know who she is.
She a D-list. She's
all you have to do is people will still like you if you just give credit to who you got it from. You ain't even gonna pretend like it was yours. You can quote somebody and then give your personal opinion about the quote. Quote somebody else and give your personal opinion about the quote. She just wasn't smart about it.
No, she wasn't. And that's one thing I learned from trying to write this script for this fucking podcast one, which I'll talk about in a minute. Is that you got to give people each credit when you write it, when you're writing this script and taking this information from them, you have to cite your sources, where you got this from, where you got this information from, because they're the ones that helped you get to this place. And if you do that, usually you're okay. You just can't. And then it's weird because I think somebody was like, hey, what about all these people out here stealing ideas and stuff like that? Here's the problem.
Patent your ideas. You need to get it patented. And
it's a difference between you taking someone's work word for word and copying it and stealing someone's joke. If you steal someone's joke, that's not patently illegal. You can steal someone's joke and they be like, that sucks that you did that, but there's nothing I can really do. If I put my stuff on wax and it's exactly the same as someone else that came before me, they can sue me. It's a huge gap there.
Yeah. Okay, we got a question. Some off the record podcast. Shout out to the homie. He was late to the party, but he asked
they recorded today.
They what?
They recorded. They went live today at 3:15.
Anyway, go ahead. You can't be competing with us, bro. You should be like, hey, bro, y'all, we gonna do it before y'all, and then y'all can roll into that. Anyway, we'll talk. But he said, how did you all meet, and how did the podcast come about? Who wants to tell the story? Can I tell the story? I tell the story.
Go ahead.
I tell the story. Okay, this is how the podcast came about. We'll start with that one. All right. So, well, or I can start with how we all know each other. Me and this guy above me, bad guy, we're brother-in-laws. Our wives are sisters. That's how we met. Okay. Country Boy, he worked at Family Dollar back umpteen years ago.
05?
I don't even remember. I don't even know. I never did ask you, but you worked at Family Dollar. You knew Dave.
Yeah.
Dave wanted to. At Family Dollar, we used to have get-togethers for all of the black people who knew each other who worked at Family Dollar. And so Dave wanted to have some at his house, and my wife got together with Dave and put the thing together. And so I met Mike through Dave.
Mm-hmm.
The bad guy met Mike and Dave through me.
Yeah.
And Kung Fu Kenny got invited because she knows Country Boy's wife, and they went to school together, were in band together, and
Aggie Pride,
and rode together.
Well, I know her brother. I know Country Boy's wife's brother. We came into A&T at the exact same time. And then Country Boy got married into it. So one of my best friends, on top of me knowing his brother-in-law, is also married to his wife's brother. So it's like I get it from all angles. So he married into this. Country Boy married into this.
Yes.
So disappear. Okay, I'm back. And so now, how we got to the point of podcast. So me and the bad guy did a podcast with some other friends of ours, and the podcast is called Campbellism.
Yeah.
And so since we did that podcast and we liked it so much, we invited, I think, Country Boy to do the podcast with us one time. I think it was, what was it, the 4th of July or something?
It was a holiday.
Yeah, and so, we all did this podcast together, and we just wowed it out, and he liked it so much. And so Dave DeWitt said that, yo, we should all do a podcast. And he was like, yo, Ryan, you should be on the, I said, my government. God, I'm taking out the country boy now. And he wanted me to do it. But I was like, here's the thing here's my rub about anything is that, like, at this point in time, I'm like, yo, I'm not finna dive head first into something and nobody else is co-signing with me. And here I am flapping in the wind by myself. I just want to be a helper bee. So I'm not taking on no real responsibilities. Just ask me when you need my help. So him and DeWitt decided that they were going to do it. And so they actually did, what was it, about 2 or 3 episodes, was it?
About 3 episodes, yeah.
With just them, and they invited the wife and the friends and blah, 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 whatever. And when I seen that they had did a couple episodes, he was like, yo, y'all want to help be on there? And I was like, oh, if you serious about this, I'm all in. Let's go. Yeah. So me and the bad guy showed up at his house one day and we did 1. And 1 turned into 2.
Yeah.
2 turned into 3.
And then 50 episodes later.
Kung Fu Kenny decided that she wanted to be involved in it. Yeah. And
what was I doing?
Yeah, and so
sucked in now. You can't leave now. He's stuck.
And next thing we know, she became the voice of
tone us down a little bit because we be acting out. She's like, hey, let me straighten y'all up. Y'all out here making these comments about women that don't know shit
what you're not gonna do.
And so from that point on, we just have matriculated to the point we are now. And if you ask me, what does the future hold? That is a good question, because I think right now we're at the point where I'm starting to think about, should we all just branch off and start, trying to add, our own social media presence and start promoting ourselves in addition with this podcast and trying to grow the base of it and see where it takes us. Because honestly, I don't know.
I mean, we're doing fairly well. I don't know if we'll be able to monetize this. I feel as though it's possible. I think that we have something that a lot of people can't duplicate because we have good chemistry together, and we can talk about a multitude of subjects and be fairly entertaining doing all of those things. And I've listened to quite a few other shows, and I feel like most people can't cover all those bases and be entertaining and funny and be serious and talk about stuff in an educated way. They're not gonna give you everything. That said, I need to be better. I probably could be more, have format this better and be more professional and, do a lot of things where, streamline this process.
Yeah, room for improvement.
Yeah, it's definitely room for improvement, especially on my end, because I'm doing a lot of the heavy lifting and the questions. And, a lot of times, like today, you're like, hey, we're doing a Q&A. Nigga asks us questions. I ain't do shit to prepare for this. I did nothing.
And first off, let's thank you, DP, for saying that we're amazing. I thank you for that. And I think that the thing is that, I don't know about y'all, but like I got a regular job. So
that's probably the real problem. We all got regular jobs.
And so like I have been thinking about some ideas of how we could monetize this, but in this day and age that we live in, a lot of times in order for you to monetize something, you got to have some type of following already.
Yeah.
And so without one of us being a fucking rapper or singer or dancer or on TV or some shits like that,
Yeah, exactly. This is one of the reasons why I thought the idea of the history podcast would be good, because it would give us a niche that no one's doing. Because I did some research on how many people were actually doing a Black History podcast, and it's really very, very slim. So in my pursuit of this, I think this is a good idea. I started attempting to write a script and try to record, and then I realized something that I didn't know. Recording a script is hard. It's hard as fuck.
I could have told you that.
I was like, I just want to see how my voice would resonate, and I sound like a robot, and I'm like, well, why do I sound natural in normal conversations, but when I read this, it's not the same. And I'm
well, like, see, the problem you have is that when you are, I guess, quote unquote, reading the script, you're trying to just make it through the words. So the words aren't necessarily resonating with you because you just got to get them all out. That's totally different than just coming off the cuff with your own antidotes, your own whatever is going on with you. And so with that being said, that's the reason why I said that, you know, when you start looking at trying to monetize this, that's kind of difficult unless you can find the right avenue. And I've been looking, but I haven't found the right avenue to try to promote to see, you know, where we could get in. Like, I mean, maybe a couple years ago, back when this was new and things like that, maybe we could have done something like, hey man, let us host the morning radio show or whatever. Maybe, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, right now it's a fucking hobby. I enjoy doing. That's why I don't really give a damn about whether or not it makes money.
Keep pumping out content until you, until you like I said, you get lucky enough and you fall right into that niche or get that right opportunity to
that's why
build your brand.
It doesn't really bother me all that much, but I feel like there needs to be a way that we can advertise ourselves to the masses. Like right now, we're kind of like, it's just me pumping out and content and sending it to people, but I feel like it's got to be a way that we can get out more, or I don't know, maybe we need a website. I don't know. I've been thinking this stuff over, but you got to understand, you also need the skills to be able to do these things. So like when I'm doing these videos, it's like, oh, hey, do this video. Oh, I got to edit that shit, don't I? I got to do that. Oh, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. Oh, you need a website. Oh, I need a website. I don't know how to do that shit. I don't see.
Yeah, and that's the kind of the rub that you get, which is that like you are trying to figure out, how do you promote yourself? How do you do all this when there are not people clamoring to get you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you know that when they hear you, they will enjoy it.
Right.
And also, and a part of this also goes back to one of my major issues that I have with Black people, is that like in certain situations, Black people are some of the most unsupportive motherfuckers I didn't ever seen. Like sometimes they will support 100%. Other times they could give a rat's fuck about you.
But on that same vein, like the people that they do support, like I'm thoroughly unimpressed with. Like Vivi, who is from the Not Perfect Just Broke podcast, commented on my picture that you look unimpressed, and I'm like, I am unimpressed. I'm mostly unimpressed with most people and most of the things that they're doing. But when you see people like, we talk about B Simone, and Kendra didn't even know who that was. Well, she got 1 million followers and she's pretty fucking rich. Or somebody like Desi, like on a regular basis, I'm like, this is really unimpressive. How can I duplicate your success but bring some actual talent to this? You know what I'm saying? And that's the way it's hard, because these people have a support group and a platform. I
give you a perfect example of how this shit is crazy, right? I think all of us pretty much repost or share this, what we're doing, on Facebook, right? And so I look at that and I'm like, I got like 400 and some odd friends on Facebook, which ain't that many. So you would think that at least a good 10% of those, so like 40 or 50 people would share this.
No,
I have not seen any kind of correlation towards that. And I'm like, wait a minute, like I know at least 40 of these people who are quote unquote my Facebook friends personally know me.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me that you personally know me and you can't take what we at now? An hour and 45. So we probably be at 2 hours when we done. You can't take 2 hours out to watch my fucking shit.
You ain't really got to stay for the 2 hours. You can pop in 10, 15 minutes, hit the like, share button, keep it moving.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
You can't even get that. I have to beg for support. Please watch my stuff. Hey, please. Hey, what you doing? Are you bored? Watch my show.
And most of these people, you go to a job for 8 hours a day. So I know during that 8 hours a day, you probably got some kind of headphones or something in your head listening to something. So you can't give me the courtesy of at least listen to me 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to seem ungrateful. It's all good. It's all good. Your support, whatever support you give us, is fine. If you don't want to support me, that is completely okay. What I will say though is that if you are not supporting me, but you want me to support you, I'm gonna remember that. I don't forget. I don't forget.
You know what? Though? Now that you said that, I might need to retract the way I am because I'm the guy on Facebook and Instagram that random likes. So I know you. I'm just gonna throw you the like just to boost your count because I want to see you be successful, right? So I know you. So let me hit that like button. But I think I might need to take my finger off that like button on some people because they ain't sharing. They ain't throwing that like back.
I mean, to that point, and I'm about to fucking turn to myself a little bit.
Okay, well, we gotta shout out DP because DP is not one of those people. DP,
no, DP is a fan, and we actually have quite a few.
If we got a super fan, it's got to be DP. I don't.
Y'all got some quite a few people who support us, but like as far as like a fan who's a fan who don't got a podcast who support us and don't have something that they are also want me to support. That's DP. Like, there ain't nobody else like that. And you know what, DP? This reminds me of a little bit. Just a short story, quickly. Not about me. Mm-hmm. So while I was doing my research on the Tulsa race riots, I found out that a lot of black people went by their initials because they didn't like white folks addressing them by their first name. You know what I'm saying? So they would go by, mine would be like MJ Motley. You know what I'm saying? So, because that sort of informality was seen as a sign of disrespect. I don't want you to call me by my first name because that's how you would do like calling me boy. Hey, Michael, come here, nigga. That's how they would do you. So the fact that you go by your initials kind of reminds me of like some old school black person's name from the early 20s. DP Johnson, you sound like a rich businessman.
Hey, DP, yeah, we would appreciate you sharing our podcast anywhere that you possibly can. And I agree that, I should probably be sharing it more and out there more and everything like that. And I think that's the thing about it is that like you get so wrapped up in your own life and everything that you got going on that you forget to do stuff.
Yeah. Shit.
Before we get too far away from it, with the Black History Podcast, have you watched any of this guy stuff? Henry Louis Gates Jr., Dr. Gates from PBS.
You talking about him ancestries? He traces people's ancestry, right?
No, he did. Well, he does that, but he did a lot of research and work and movies and scripts and books on like one of them is, what do you call it, Reconstruction in America. The African American experience. He did Faces of America, and he also did one on a 6-hour long documentary on our process from Africa all the way over to the Americas. So if you want some good research, I was gonna watch all his shit, and I know that'll help.
I'll at least read these books.
Pretty much set the basis for what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I can at least read these books. I've been reading. I read the one on, I think it was Riot and Remembrance, which was directly about the Tulsa race riots, and then I'm gonna read this one about the Red Summer, and but I want to read this because I feel like this will give me an overarching idea of black people in America. And one thing you'll find, at least what I found just reading the first book I read, was that a lot of the same things that we're dealing with right now were the same shit that they were going through in 1921.
Yo, somebody showed a picture on Facebook, and I saw this post, and I laughed at it. And it was a lady back in like the early civil rights movement with a picture that said "Stop Police Brutality," and it was next to a picture of somebody from 2020 saying "Stop Police Brutality."
Yeah,
and you like, God damn, you mean
100 years later,
60 years ain't nothing changed?
Nothing.
Almost 100. Like
nothing. Matter of fact, I mean, we've been joking about this for years. It just got to the point where you could actually see it. I mean, could you imagine what would have happened to George Floyd if we didn't have a camera? They would have killed that nigga and been like, "Oh, autopsy said that he died of pre-existing conditions, not because we sat on his neck for 8 minutes." And they would be like, "We didn't sit on his neck for 8 minutes. We restrained him and moved on." Like without a camera, they would have never been nothing.
People still lying today with the cameras.
Yeah. Right. I got
still lying, and it's like, oh dang it, I did have that body cam on. Dang it.
Yo, since this is Q&A, I got a question for y'all. I read somebody I was watching or reading or something. They were basically making the argument that all African Americans in America suffer from some form of mental illness, be it PTSD or anything like that. And before I say how I feel about it, I want to know, just take a minute before you say something. Think about it. What do you say?
I would say that I see our interactions with the police, and like, for instance, when we saw Rayshard Brooks, the first thing that I thought was, before, like when I saw the first thing, I saw him tussling with the police, I was like, oh, this nigga getting ready to get shot. Like we are so accustomed to knowing exactly how an interaction is going to end with us and the police, and when it escalates to that point, like when he's tussling with the police, I'm like, this nigga is about to get shot. We already know. It's ingrained in us. When you told me earlier that you don't mess with the police, that nothing, you'll never talk to the police. None of us have a record. None of us have been to jail. I mean, did I know of? Y'all might be done some phony shit, but we're just gonna assume that you're very law-abiding citizens. And there's no reason for you to be afraid of police, but it is so ingrained in us that police are only here for negative reactions. That's the idea that we all have PTSD or some type of mental illness with reaction, how we feel about the police. It's possible. It's very possible. I know when I see
the system in general.
The system in general. When stuff goes our way in the system, we shocked. We are shocked. You know what I'm saying? When that white cop who shot the dude in the house, the eating ice cream cat.
The lady cop, we know you're talking about.
Went in the wrong house.
Yeah, went in the wrong house and shot homie. When she got convicted, before she got sentenced, when she got convicted, we were always like, what? We were shocked. This system was never designed with us in mind. When people tell us this system is broken, this system is not broken. This system is working the way it's intended. It was never intended with your black ass in mind. So you can't even be upset at the way it goes. We shouldn't even assume that it's going to be working our favor because it wasn't designed to. All of that said, when you tell me that we might have some mental illness or some generational pain, yes, because we used to this. You told me 60 years ago, stop kicking our ass. And 60 years later, you still kicking our ass. Like, of course I'm gonna be an issue with it.
Somebody else got something different to say, or we all on the same accord?
Mm-mm.
Go ahead. Let's hear what you got to say. That's what I want to. I want to hear somebody who has an opposite opinion.
All right, so here's my thing. To say that black people have mental illness, like on the basis of being black in America, I'm not going to base it off of that. Mental illness is real and it doesn't have a color. Now, do we have episodes where we may have experienced things that may have caused you to have an episode of PTSD? Yes, because of the episode and the encounter, maybe it stemmed from a racial thing, but you didn't experience PTSD because you were black. You were in an experience that was PTSD provoking. The other issue is it's been a long running joke in the Black community that you don't need to go see a psychiatrist or a psychologist. That mental illness really doesn't exist, you know. And don't get me wrong, the country as a whole suffers from the fact that mental illness does not get its due and does not get the funding and the dollars that it needs to address real issues across the board. Now, almost any healthy person could benefit from talking to a psychiatrist, just being able to talk about things. Because let's be for real, I don't care what your color is. You mess around and go to a friend or a family member talking about you want to go talk about something. One, you're going to get bad advice. Two, they ain't going to let you talk. If nothing else, when you look at a psychiatrist situation, they sit and let you talk without interrupting you, which I don't know about y'all. I ain't never experienced when I went to a friend or a family member for advice or to get something off my chest. It's just not how we're wired. So I think mental illness exists. I believe that because of different circumstances, Black people may run into some situations that are PTSD. I think there are certain mental illnesses that do run in a family, so it's generational, but it ain't because you're Black. Mental illness does not discriminate whatsoever. And just like other people have mental illness, Black people have mental illness. But just because I'm Black doesn't mean I have some level of a mental illness. Some people cope better than others. And I will argue there's certain things that don't phase us and don't send us into breakdowns like other people, because you built a little different based off of your circumstances. What causes one person anxiety doesn't necessarily cause us anxiety because we like they're bigger issues. That's a privilege to be anxious over that. That's not anxiety provoking. That's not even a real issue. So how you built is very different. Some things that send people, I can tell you right now, nursing schools send plenty of people into anxiety and medication. Just because nursing school is rough and hard and people are not built for it. Everybody ain't gonna end up popping a pill just because they went through nursing school.
That's true. I mean, you did it, and you're fine. I think.
Okay, bad guy, what you got?
Nothing too different than what's already been said on this issue.
Okay, I'm gonna give you
kind of like she is. I'm that person that's wired different, so it's kind of hard for me to have empathy over certain subjects. So,
well, see, my thing about it is that a lot of times I think the stigma of having a mental illness is what keeps people from actually accepting that they are mentally incapacitated. And when you say that, when you look at the plight of the Black man in America, you got to understand that it's not necessarily that, oh, this issue right here caused you to have a mental illness or that issue. What I like to call it is what some people call microaggressions, what other people call just regular aggressions. After those mount up in you over and over and over again, would that not attribute and not stipulate that you are truly suffering from a mental illness because you have basically had these things ingrained in you that are not necessarily ingrained in any other race in America? So, for instance,
what other race? Like, we talk about minorities. Like,
my question with that would be is
monopoly on not being treated right in this country. Like, it almost becomes laughable when we talk about Native Americans because they don't even get talked about. Like, for real.
But my question is if what if are you mentally ill? Is if what you are afraid of or that you got growing in your head is the truth, right? And my terms of thinking is, police brutality and how they treat Black people. We know this as a fact. It might not be all of them, but am I mentally ill to, address police officers differently than I see white people address police officers? I don't consider that a mental illness. I think that's just trial and error shit.
No,
I know not to cuss him the fuck out. I should be able to cuss him the fuck out, but I ain't gonna do it.
But what I'm saying is that that's just a small piece of it, just that. Now, when you add on to it something else, like have you heard the outcomes of Black patients in hospitals? Look at that. So our healthcare disparities, put that on top of it. Okay, what about disparities? Put that on top of it. And something that I personally know about is that, like, remember, like, when you were going to school, the whole reason why you went to school was that you were hoping that to make a better life for yourself, right? And what I find is that a lot of times Black people who have a bachelor's degree don't necessarily walk into the same career paths as white people with bachelor's degree. So, for instance, I know a lot of Black people who have bachelor's degrees who their first job out of college was something like customer service rep or whatever. Whereas this white person, they walked out of college and they were on a career path with the company versus being a customer service rep at the bottom of the food chain. And so when you start looking at that, and that's and putting that on top of it and on top of it and on top of it, does that not signify a certain amount of PTSD, ergo a mental illness?
To me, it doesn't, because it depends on what you were prepared to deal with. I was taught from the moment I got here and first told my mom as a child and probably nursery that something wasn't fair. She told me at probably age of 3, the whole world wasn't fair. So,
but but do you not think that that's more inclination that
I wouldn't know. It's preparation and not mental illness. It's preparation, right?
Yeah.
But is that not precipitating the PTSD though?
No, that's no PTSD, because I was taught at the age of 3 the whole world ain't fair. So I went into situations not expecting fairness. And because I wasn't expecting fairness, I understood that if I wanted to be successful, I may have to move a little bit different, and I can't expect fairness to work in my favor if I want to get to the next level.
We've been taught
everything to be fair, and then I get crushed by things not being fair. That almost goes back to that whole like participation trophies. Like, you ain't really win, and you ain't really put in the effort to win, but here go your reward. And then you get out here in life and find out that if you give B-level effort, you ain't gonna get where you want to get. That could be soul crushing, and then you may end up with a mental illness.
Did Ryan, weren't you on that boat? Weren't you on that crush your kids' dreams boat? Did you tell us that shit?
Look at Thurman said crush them.
Yeah, you just smash them in the dust.
Whoa. I said crush a unrealistic dream. A person wanting to have a career after graduating from college, that's not a dream that can be crushed. Like, that's
should have it framed within reality in this country. It should be framed in reality and not.
But do you understand what you're saying are prime symptoms of PTSD, right?
No, PTSD is you are experiencing post-traumatic stress.
Yes.
Of that.
You're not. You have to go through something. You have to go through something first, right?
But just to move differently. I'm not experiencing PTSD.
But just because you don't realize it or accept that you are suffering this stress does not mean that it's not there.
Right. The absence of stress means it's not there.
No, just because you haven't realized the stress, because I give you prime example.
So when
the police pull up behind you, are you stressed? Yes or no?
Yes.
But everybody's
that's active, though. That's active.
Yes, but it's not.
That's active stress. It's stress because I feel like I've done something wrong.
It's not because of experience that I've had. It's because I've been taught that this could possibly not go well. I mean, I know plenty of women who teeth and stick, and they experience a lot of stress until those 3 minutes are up, and they see where they are. But I don't think they're going through life saying I got a mental disorder and I got PTSD because my cycle was late.
But again, that is just one thing. When you start piling on other stuff on top of it, because like, remember now, what if she couldn't afford that baby in the first place?
Most of them can't.
And so you start piling
because our parents could afford us and that they plan for us. They you figure it out.
Again, this is about the sum total of all of that stress weighing on you. And so if you want to say that, like, hey, no, I'm not stressed.
Not about that.
Well, this cat said PTSD soft, bro.
Yeah, that's the homie Akeem, man. He runs.
I think for me with PTSD, I feel like you are giving it to people that hadn't gone through things, but I think when you do go through things, you can accumulate a certain amount of PTSD, but I feel like you actually have to go through something first. I don't think you can be told about it.
But I think being Black in America is going through something. Now, am I saying that like this is the most extreme case of PTSD in the world? No, I'm not saying that it's like the most extreme
Being
form
Black
of
in
PTSD
America
out there.
is going through something. That's a hard ship to sell, because like you said, it's a lot of Black people that don't get that same Mississippi upbringing that we did, where you live around races 24/7.
Okay, I will give you the prime example of this. If you go into any room full of white people and you ask them, "Hey, would you want to be treated the way Black people are treated in America?" What do they say? Do they say yes?
No, we get it. No, we're not saying that being Black in America is not hard.
Black in America
it's harder than being white in America.
We are I think we're a little bit past the point where you can just say hard, and at the point where like that shit can actually weigh on a person and cause them harm.
On a completely different note,
the same is what we're saying. It does, but not the same.
I'm not saying that it's the same. What I'm saying is that it's heavy enough to cause that, and we're all walking around with that baggage, in addition to all the rest of the baggage that the world puts on top of us.
And we agree that it could, but it doesn't to everyone. We're not saying that somebody can't have enough single experiences where they end up with PTSD because of the single experiences they have related to being Black in America. We're not saying that can't happen. We're saying because I'm Black in America, don't expect me to suffer from PTSD because I'm Black in America.
Do you, on another vein, did you guys see Bob Johnson and his $35,000 in reparations? $35,000 in reparations for every Black person. Not to talk about it. How do you feel about that number? That's what I want to know. How do you guys feel about $350,000 for?
Wait a minute, 35 350. Which
350,000.
I can pay off some things.
You say it was 350,000?
350,000
for every
Black person. It was some other stuff in there, but the number. That's what I'm saying. Like, if he was like, "Yo, these are reparations," it's supposedly I think the total cost was like $14 trillion. But if the government was like, "Hey, take it or leave it. This is what you're gonna get." You're not gonna turn that shit down. You're gonna be like,
we was trying to get this 1,200. You think we finna turn down 350,000? Shit.
Do you feel like it's
so
enough?
Every person in America,
the nothing we get now?
No, every Black person. It's reparations. These are
every Black person gets 350. So I get 350,000. Wife get 350,000. My kids get 350,000 each.
Yeah.
I think I would have to take it.
Might have to pop out a couple of papers.
Wait. But my whole concern is what else comes with that though?
There's some other things.
You got to start talking about reparations.
Yeah, you got to start talking about reparations. That's number one.
What can I sign? Okay, I don't talk about it now because I ain't.
Right.
And when you blow your 350, shut the fuck up. You blow it. Once you blow it, hey.
As opposed to the nothing I have now.
I mean, if your ancestors came back and was like, he owned a plantation, and he's like, "Hey, I bust my ass for $350,000," would he be like, "Nigga, hold out for a meal," or would he be like, "You better take that goddamn money"?
He probably gonna say, "You better take that goddamn money." You know how fast they change that goddamn mind.
How long we been holding out? So that's what we've been doing this whole time. We've been holding out for an acceptable number, and that's what we doing.
Okay,
niggas will take $5,000 right now.
I ain't gonna say that.
What if
you ain't gonna turn it? But you ain't gonna turn it down either, though. If they send that check in the mail, you gonna cash it? You ain't gonna cash that check?
No.
What if the money came from Republicans? What if Trump gave you your reparations? How would you feel about that shit?
350,000?
Yes, 350,000.
I would say that would be a reflection of how horrible his job has been, so that he felt like he needed to give reparations to Black
get reelected.
That is obvious. This is how badly I have done, so that I'm going to be, if nothing else, they will say, I'm the person who gave reparations.
Hey, they still touting that Party of Lincoln shit, so hey, it might happen. It could happen.
I mean, when you talk about 350,000, Man, that's a lot of money to just be bandying about. And so for me, at that point, at that number, I would take it, no questions asked. Now, if you start going to some lower numbers, then we might have some
What
problems.
is the lowest amount that you're willing to take for your ancestors' pain?
Let's start with that 350 and negotiate from there.
All right. Let me negotiate. Let me negotiate down. What about 200K?
That's still fine.
Okay.
I'm
What
good.
about
1,200?
I can pay off way more.
what
than
about
that 350.
75K? What about 75K?
75K? Nah.
Listen, I don't want the 200. I'm still back at the 350 where I can pay things off and not have mortgages anymore. That's where I am.
Listen. They put 50K in the goddamn mailbox, and I walk out there and I see a check for $50,000. They're like, "Oh, this is reparations." Well, I appreciate this 50K, man. I guess I'm going to work tomorrow.
I'm going to take it, but I'm going to talk bad.
Ain't gonna talk bad to him. I'm cashing whatever check they said. Whatever free money you said I had.
45 gave me a check. I'm cashing that motherfucker, and I'm still talking shit to him. I'm still like, while I'm endorsing that thing, you know you ain't shit, right? But I'm sorry,
you gonna send me this little fucking $5,000? Oh, you tried it.
No, hey, for me personally, my reparations gotta be 6 figures in order for me to feel comfortable and not say nothing and feel like maybe we can start making some changes. But unless that check ain't 6 figures, you can keep it.
It better not be taxed either. Don't you tax me?
Oh, it better not be taxed.
Oh hell no! You see that?
You basically 350, and y'all giving up on that 350. Y'all see, I ain't giving up on 350.
I don't know what they say. We should have none.
About the taxes?
Yeah, they say we should have non-cash asset things that we can pass down. I don't mean no harm with 350, and my wife get 350, my son get 350. We pushing the meal. I could probably buy me something that I can pass down.
I'm with you.
Because I doubt they gonna give us like land or something. But then we'll be fighting over the land. That'll be fucked up. Like, yeah, we're gonna donate this land to all the African American community. Now we fucked it. We're gonna just pass the buck on to you. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I
no, because
how I feel about that.
I've often said that is that like while the Native Americans do have their struggles, they were at least given reservations. Now the problem, but the problem with the reservations is that they gave them crappy land. Now, if you're gonna give me the land,
crappy setup. It was a setup from the beginning, and it was all crappy.
Well, see, the problem with the Native American reservations was that the Native Americans didn't want anything to do with America, and so they wanted to be ruled by their own, and so you have to deal with that. And remember, and so that means that like a lot of stuff that they didn't get that comes with being part of America, like for instance, fully funding schools, healthcare, education, all that kind of stuff. They didn't want none of that. So they wanted to be on their own. Black people, we didn't want to be separate totally from America. We just wanted what we were owed. So imagine if we were given what we were owed and we were given this land to basically fulfill our dreams on.
Are you still talking about reservations?
Totally different. Yeah, we still talking about reparations.
No, you're talking about reservations.
Reservations. Yeah, I'm still talking about reservations. I'm still on it. I
don't want to be on no dirt patch in the middle of nowhere. Have you seen Cherokee Reservation?
That's what I'm
worst fucking place.
No, but that's what I'm saying. We weren't given dirt patches. We actually had prime land throughout Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Florida. We weren't on dirt patches. We were on prime land. That's the reason why the man took it from us.
Hey, but they took it from the Native Americans too. They took their ass on the Trail of Tears and hey, get to walking.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is what if we would have been allowed to keep the land that we originally got?
Let me ask you a question. Dude said something about non-cash assets. Would you willing to take away from that 350 to be given free healthcare or free schools, free college education for you and your kids, and now you're only getting $75K.
What's the quality of it? Because don't sign me up for free healthcare, and then I can't go where I want to go, and I can't see the specialist I want to see, and you really giving me bottom of the barrel healthcare for free. So
I mean, it's a free healthcare is better than nothing. Nothing you have now.
I got insurance now, so let's go ahead and I'll continue to pay my insurance, and you give me the rest of my $350.
So wait, are you saying that like we would be included in the Medicaid rolls automatically? That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. And
no, give me the rest of my money, and I can pay for better healthcare choices. I'm gonna go.
Well, I mean, because like for the first 30, 40 years of your life, I mean, just the people on here, how much of the healthcare have you used?
Not hardly any.
I had a surgery, so I've used it.
And
but then it's a guy like me that shit. I'm trying to think. What I've been to the doctor for?
Hey, the Dominicans would be real black then, right? I is black now. Anyway,
I don't know if I would take the free healthcare, dog. I don't want.
The older you get, they say you sacrifice your health for wealth when you're younger, and you sacrifice your wealth for health when you're older. Let me go to a specialist, and I don't have to wait for you to approve some budget. So now, give me the rest of my $350, and I'll invest. I'll pay off these mortgages, and I'm
gonna keep my $350 and continue to work and be balling.
Right,
I'll be balling. With the shortest leash. Oh man, could you imagine you give everybody $350? How much give a fuck black people gonna have? You can't be able to tell them nothing. Hey, Tyrone, I'm gonna need you to come in this nigga.
I got $350.
I got $350. I don't need this. I don't need this.
There was something brought up about looking at the history of people who have like won the lottery in the past. It's not going to fit Black America, and a lot is going to go wrong if everybody gets $350. Let's go ahead and be real about that. And there should be something set up to help people who want to make better decisions with the money make better decisions. And that doesn't fit with the lottery. It's just you get this money, and if you don't know what to do with it and you blow it, blow it. There needs to be some infrastructure to help some of us out. Let's be real.
So what if they gave you the $350 though in yearly installments?
Nah. I might not make it.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I'm trying to get rid of the mortgage now. I'm here now. Give me all of it now.
Okay, so you saying you would turn down the $350 if it was given to you in yearly installments?
Nah, man.
I ain't turning shit down.
Hey, I'm gonna be like JG Wentworth. I want my money. I want it now.
You giving me a per year over the next 4 years? You giving
me you know it's
you gotta get that shit. You getting that shit in 20-year installments.
Yeah, that's not be. Come on, bro.
Anyway,
who? No, 20 for what? We done waited how long? I done waited to 20 years.
Man, shit. I'll get to you make it to the end of that.
I think I would much rather have it that way in yearly installments.
No, I want it in yearly. I want to
wait. But my caveat in that is that if I don't make it, that money still goes to my kids.
I want to pay off stuff now and be able to have the revenue to have other stuff to pass down to my kids. So let me pay off stuff now.
How many record labels you think will get started with that $350?
Oh, come on. That's why I said, man, they couldn't do that. They $350 one shots, no. But $35,000 a year though.
Hey, I was shocked.
Hey, you know what though? I'll be honest with you. If they gave everybody that $350, can you imagine how high they would have to raise minimum wage? Because motherfuckers ain't going to work for no motherfucking $8 an hour. You can take your $8 an hour. So now you got to pay a motherfucker really to come to work. So
not just that. Just think about how many people, like, how you could pull your money together and do stuff. Like, now that I know you, if all of us know we got $350, like, hey, nigga, this is what we about to do. We about to buy this whole block. We about to buy this whole fucking block of apartment buildings. We about to make this dough. I know you got it. I know you got it.
That's some of us.
It's some of us.
We finna go build this cruise line.
I'm not worried about the rest of the niggas. If you do this shit for me, I'm gonna be rich.
We gotta put something in place for the rest of us who don't know how to spend money, reserve money, invest money.
Why I got to put for what? Everybody ain't meant to be rich. You get that 350, you want to go blow it, and you live life to the fullest extent for a whole year. More power to you. Matter of fact, come rent one of my apartment complexes from me.
Just put something in place.
Pay your rent up for the year.
Make a better choice. Put something in place for someone who wants to make a better choice.
And people still gonna make fucked up decisions. You can get all the literature you want to give them, and they gonna still do what the fuck they want to do.
And
I know, right?
That is true. But at
hella
least
Gucci belts and rimmed out 64s.
put something in place to have people have a chance. If they choose not to go, they choose not to go. But put something in place and know that everybody doesn't know what to do.
You know how many people finna send their money to Africa to try to get $1 million?
Listen.
If you just fund me $350,000 that I know you got, I can unlock this $10 million my uncle got locked up. I need your $350.
I can't help them. I'm trying to help somebody who would make a better decision if it was presented. That's who I'm trying to help.
Like I said before, my question would still be: would you still take the same deal if it was stretched out over 10, 20 years?
No, I want a crucial impact.
I feel like you doing it over 10 to 22 years is trying to protect me from myself. I feel like you're trying to protect me from doing something stupid with my fucking money.
Or you trying to protect me from getting under your thumb. That's what you're doing. Because like you said, it's a multitude with the level of education that we got out and that people have access to. It's going to be a multitude of people that flip that money in the right way, and it's going to change the face of America. You can't induce that much money
the other day about a city that was for sale. How much was that city for sale for?
Their city was $1.7 million. We should have bought it.
We would have bought that shit.
I bought a fucking city. I bought a city, nigga. I'm a mayor.
I'm mayor. I'm gonna rename that shit too. Bro.
What y'all think about endorsing the mayor of Atlanta, that black lady, to be the VP?
Hey, Stacey Abrams didn't make the cut. I know somebody who's excited about that. Who's excited about Stacey Abrams not making the cut. Honestly though, I'm for it. Hey, she bad though. She bad. She make you want to risk it all a little bit.
wait, the black mayor of Atlanta?
Yeah. She was on the list. She was on the short list. Him, Kamala, her, Stacey Abrams, Elizabeth Warren, and one other female. I can't remember. Susan Rice. Man. Susan Rice, not Stacey Abrams. Susan Rice. So that makes a decent list. What the hell?
No, he got a pee. Look like he running. Legs shaking.
Don't worry about it.
I guess you're saving me right now. I'm like, I got to be more careful getting on with y'all.
I did not know this was going to turn into a 2-hour epic. But what I will say, Keisha Lance Bottoms, that's her name. Keisha Bottoms. What I will say is my producer, my 3-month-old producer is calling this show quits.
So, nigga, what is y'all doing? Y'all having too much fun.
Y'all have way too much fun.
Feed me, Seymour. Feed me.
I'm gonna tell you something. One day, I think next week we're gonna do a Black Fathers episode, so I can tell y'all all about my exploits. All about my exploits on trying to be a daddy, because this shit hard.
Say a city would be a huge liability.
Yeah.
In the beginning,
honestly, I think it's a huge jump going from being a VP from being a mayor. That's my only caveat. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up because I gotta get the hell out of here.
Oh, we wrapping up, man. Yeah, I was about to say, bro. I had to go pee, bro. I'm like, man, y'all motherfuckers, I gotta.
You and me, but
exactly.
Like, so bro, I got my bladder killing me. Shit.
If you guys, anybody still listening, follow our YouTube channel. You know, listen to our podcast anywhere podcasts. You know, any major podcasting platforms. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel because I'm doing my best with this shit. It is hard. Also, you know, share this. I know the daddy stories are gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna do the daddy stories next week. That's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna do Black fathers or being parenting or me struggling like hell next week. We'll see. Anyway, share this. You know, follow us on Facebook. Follow me on IG. Follow me on Twitter. We're gonna keep grinding with this. I'm gonna try to get the rest of these dudes to get Twitter and Instagram so we can pump this content out to everybody. But it's a work in progress. And peace. Say peace to the people.
Peace.
2 hours, 23 minutes later.